here. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm not doing it because it just makes us look like, stupid. So
And we do that, and we do that well enough on our own. So
right, I don't need any help. So
yeah, we don't need any help.
So apologies to the radio side, but I'm not doing it because, like I said, you're not getting the full content of the show, and that's not what we're here for.
There's no point.
We're here to give the full content. Like
Yep.
I'm not the only person in this damn thing. I'm not doing the whole show on the radio side. So
Yep.
So they can get mad if they want to. Don't give a shit. So
no. Well, good morning, everybody.
Fix your goddamn settings. Oh, man.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Metalheads Unite Podcast here on kind of a gloomy late February morning here in the United States. We are live once again here with our regularly scheduled format that we've been doing here for a while here on the network. We are back to the normal format, and apparently Jason had to duck out for a minute. The weather's been kind of crappy here the past couple of days, so maybe kind of playing hell with our Wi-Fi connections here a little bit. So, that happens sometimes. So,
guess they got mad at us about that too. So
probably. So, good Lord, yeah. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, what we can do.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is we actually, we definitely have some options. So,
all right.
Unfortunately, we saw our streak of guest appearances come to an end this week, but that's fine. It's we're not going to have a guest every week, and
but we are next week.
we are next week. So yeah, we'll work on starting a new streak next week. So which hopefully, if everything goes well, will actually lead us into our appearance at the Rock and Pod Expo up in Nashville. Right. So we're 3 weeks out from that. We're super excited for that. That's going to be St. Patrick's Day weekend at the fairgrounds in Nashville. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully some of you guys who are in the immediate area will take the time and come out and see us and say hi. I think that's going to be super fun. Kind of nervous for that. Of course I was nervous for our first live appearance last year at the Slammin' in the Sticks that Dana invited us to too.
Yeah.
So didn't know how that was going to go. It was our first time, being out in public and all that with the show. So, but it was, it went really well. Got to talk to a lot of cool bands and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be no different. Of course, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to be a lot busier of a weekend. So
yeah,
so yeah, it's gonna be an experience, and we're looking forward to that.
Almost like speed podcasting, like speed dating.
Basically, yeah, yeah. I think when they emailed us, they said that the people who were going to be made available for interviews were going to be available in like 15-minute increments. So yeah, so there's not going to be too much, kind of sitting around and bullshit. And it's going to have to
and I think it's only like a 6-hour window too. So that's
right.
Why they're saying. That's why they're saying is like everybody's not going to get to interview everybody they wanted to, which is kind of unfortunate. Hopefully we get to do the main ones we wanted to do. So.
Right. Yeah. So, well, the good thing is you supplied one hell of a list. So, the good thing is even if, even if we don't get to do the whole list, which makes sense because with the amount of other with the amount of other podcasters there and all that stuff. So it only makes sense. So with the list that got submitted, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some pretty quality get.
Well, I'm hoping to at least get 15 to 20 off of there. So
that would be nice. That would definitely be nice. So, but yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So, but yeah, we'll let you guys know towards the end of the show.
There's some local bands like running around there too.
Well, hopefully, and I know that we, at least I have. I don't know if you did, but I'm pretty sure you did. Saw, because I can't remember if they sent us a message in Facebook Messenger or not. But I'm pretty sure they did. But Halo Scars is going to be in Nashville that Sunday, and I remember them when they told us they were going to be in Nashville because they had all those issues with the venue double booking them. So they were actually supposed to have been in Nashville earlier this month, but the show got double booked, so they ended up having to work out something else, and now they're going to be in Nashville on March 19th, which is that very same weekend. And I remember when I can't remember if it was Colby who was telling us about the reschedule or not. It may have been, but when he was telling us about it, he asked if we were going to be able to make the reschedule of the show, and I said, well, we probably will be able to because we're actually going to be in Nashville for the expo. And he was like super excited for us that we were going to this expo thing. So if they're going to be in town, that'd be cool if they swung by. So I guess we'll kind of see how that goes, but so it would be kind of cool if they were able to swing by the expo while we're there. So, and I already told Victor about it. So
I think Jason was the one that actually messaged.
It may have been Jason, actually. Yeah, it may have been. I couldn't remember if it was Jason or Colby because I knew one of them had messaged us about it, and I told Victor about it. So hopefully Victor will swing by because he lives up there already anyway, unless he's traveling to another concert.
Yeah, he just tagged me. He just tagged me in a post, so he's scrolling through videos right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. He
actually messaged me the other day and said, "Hey man, are you going to try to go to the Guns N' Roses show?"
Yeah,
I said I would like to, and then I seen the tickets and I said, "Nah, fuck that, I'm not doing
I said the exact same thing because he messaged me too and asked me if I was going. I said, "Man, I'd like to." I said, "But the financials are going to have to work out."
I'm not paying $100 to sit, the furthest away from everything. Like, that's bullshit. Like, that's
right. Yeah,
it's a fucking ripoff, man. Like, why are you ripping off your fans like that? I understand you're a big name band, but you're also in a venue that's probably going to hold 15,000, 20,000 people. So you're talking.
Well, it should be more than that.
Well, yeah. But I don't. It's
soccer stadium, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, the new soccer stadium. I wasn't
sure.
It is. I seen the name and I said that's got to be the new soccer stadium. So which
which
we'll actually get to see because we're going to be right over there by it anyway. So
yep, that's right.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of expensive to me. It was anyway.
It is
for.
It is.
I honestly think that the tour that the Def Leppard them did was cheaper than that. So,
yeah. Well, and the funny thing too is like they're having it at the soccer park and everything. Mm-hmm. So there's not even 100% chance that the show won't go off without weather. So I almost think it would be better if they did it at the hockey arena, but that way you don't have to worry about the weather. But obviously they don't ask us about that. Of course, I'm sure I don't know what the capacity is of the soccer stadium. I'm sure it's more than the arena anyway. So that's probably what they were shooting for. But so I wouldn't want to risk sitting outside and getting rained on or have a thunderstorm roll through. Of course, but I don't remember the exact tour date of the Nashville show.
It was August 26th, I believe.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. In August, in August down here, you run a real good risk of some of those thunderstorms rolling through. So so you're going to pay that much money. And there's no guarantee that the fucking concert won't get rained out anyway. So,
or are you going to pay that much money and get soaked?
Well, that too. Yeah, that too.
It's an expensive bath, man.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's true. The potential is there. So,
but you know, I kind of understand it, but then again, I don't. I'm just like, well, yeah, I understand you're a big name band. You think you can just charge whatever the fuck you want to or whatever. But and I'm not sure who sets I'm not Guns N' Roses themselves probably don't set the amount of the tickets anyway. It's usually the venues.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of wild to submit. And like the front row, the pit area was like $375 or something.
Yeah, $375. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is.
There was already resale tickets on there for like $1,200 because pre-sale bots bought some shit.
Yeah, of course they did. Which
is bullshit. They got all right. So you're telling me in our technological age that we don't have a way to block those types of purchases? There's not a fucking way in hell that you can't tell me we can't block that.
Yeah. I mean, especially since what they try to do is they try to, like, people like you and me who try to buy tickets. What they do is they put ticket limits on your IP address anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't tell me that I'm on the same page as you. You can't tell me there's not some way to shut that stuff down.
Yeah. We got people that can hack into shit, and you're telling me they can.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll probably touch on that a little bit later because I didn't share my stories with you because everything was going the fuck on yesterday, so I didn't really have a chance to. I thought about it. I thought about it last night when I was finishing up around midnight or so, and I was like, shit, I didn't send him my fucking thing. So
that's fine.
I'm like, well, hell, hopefully he didn't add anything, so we won't double. So
I didn't. So everything that I sent you. So yeah, we should still be fine.
And then I couldn't remember everything you sent me. So hopefully, if I covered it in the headlines, I'll cut through it. But
okay.
Anyway.
Yeah,
I guess we can dive into this thing here.
Yep.
Just with our normal,
our regularly scheduled program. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be kind of weird to just go through this and not have nothing else to or nobody to talk to after.
It is.
I mean, it kind of felt like it was a normal show. We done did it so long.
I know it. So. I know it is kind of weird now, for the past month, every week having a guest come on and then going through the regular format. It is kind of strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I'll keep reaching out too to try to keep that streak kind of going,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, when we don't get one every week, that's perfectly fine. So I know we're not going to have anybody on the 17th because we're going to have all those interviews to go through that weekend. So,
right.
Figure out how we're going to do that too. I don't know.
Yeah. Like we talked about, we may just have to do those in segments. And in all honesty, some of them may just have to be recorded and uploaded. So we'll figure that out as it goes.
Hey, that may be some good Patreon content. So since we're actually still kind of in the midst of setting all that up. So
yeah, that's still in its infancy. That's true.
Yeah, I can kind of work on that when I get back from my vacation. So
there you go. I know you're looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I guess this is tomorrow. I'll go ahead and tell my wife happy anniversary early.
There it is.
So
happy anniversary to you guys.
Yeah. So 23 years. So it's a
nice.
Yeah. So I'm almost at that quarter of a century.
There you go. That's a big coffee. Jesus.
Oh, probably it just looks bigger on the screen.
Oh, okay.
The screen adds 10 inches.
So it's definitely a black coffee then, right?
Yeah. I think it's a Motley Crue coffee. That's what it is. I said, "Would you like to Tommy Lee that?" I'm like, "Sure."
Right. Yeah. There's a collaboration that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, right. We need to team up with Starbucks and get a Tommy Lee.
Hell yeah, dude.
Tommy Lee size coffee. Oh, wow. Oh man, anyway, I guess we could kick off these birthdays this week from the 19th through today, the 25th. On February 19th, we had Tony Iommi, guitarist for Black Sabbath. Francis Buckholz, bassist for Scorpions from 1973 to 1992. We had Doug Aldrich, guitarist for, probably easier to tell me who he didn't play for, but some of the bands he played for is Whitesnake, Dio, House of Lords, Hurricane, and now he's currently with the Dead Daisies. So the guy's got pretty extensive resumes.
Yes.
Then we have Frank Watkins, bassist for Obituary, and he unfortunately passed away in 2015. And we have Burton C. Bell, of course, ex-vocalist now of Fear Factory. Then we had Seth Morrison, guitarist for Skillet. And then on February 20th, we had Key Marcello, guitarist for Europe. We had, I think I'm froze. Am I froze? Am I good?
No, yeah, you're good. Am I frozen?
Okay.
Yeah,
I think maybe you were just sitting. I think you were just sitting so still. I was looking down at because I'm looking at the feed in the Facebook app because that's how I usually tell if one of us is frozen.
Oh, I was just I was just writing,
and you were just like in stealth. You were in stealth mode over there. So
I'm just writing
in stealth mode over there. So I was like, oh shit, am I frozen? All right, carry on. February 20th, Terry Alous, vocalist for Great White from 2010 to 2018, and now with XYZ, which is kind of crazy. Those I didn't know that band was still around. I loved that band in the 90s. So,
yep.
Kurt Cobain, vocalist and guitarist for Nirvana. Unfortunately, he passed away in 1994. Ed Graham, drummer for The Darkness from 2000 to 2014. And in February 21st, we had David Geffen. Of course, he's a record producer for Geffen Records and Asylum, and he's also a film studio director or executive for DreamWorks. So you might have seen some of his stuff and heard some of his stuff. So I remember growing.
I'd say unless you've been living under a rock, yeah.
Yeah, I remember growing up, like Geffen Records was like the big company. So Whitesnake and all those bands, I think even Guns N' Roses and all those guys
Guns N' Roses
on that label. So a lot of big bands were on that label. And of course, we had one of my favorites, Randy Blythe, vocalist for Lamb of God. We have Floyd Jansen, vocalist for Nightwish, and we have Ash Costello, vocalist for New Year's Day. So February 21st put out some good vocalists.
Very high quality. Yep.
February 22nd, we had Danny Lobo, drummer for Halloween, and then we had, I know I'm going to kill this name, Akira Takasaki, guitarist for Loudness. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd say you nailed it. Yeah.
Not bad for cornbread, I guess. February 23rd, we had Steve Priest, bassist and vocalist for Sweet. He unfortunately passed away in 2020. Then we have Brad Whitford, guitarist for Aerosmith. Michael Wilton, guitarist for Queensryche. John Norum, guitarist for Europe. And then 23rd put out all the guitarists, I guess. So.
Right, yeah.
Then Chris Renna, musician, producer, and sound engineer for Nine Inch Nails and Tweaker. February 24th, we had Derek St. Holmes, guitarist and singer for the Ted Nugent Band from 75 to 78, and then rejoined in 2011 to 2014. So I guess they have some kind of a on and off relationship there. So kind of with a lot of band members, I guess. And we had Shinya, drummer for Duran Gray. Then we had Chris is it Finn or Fan? I can't remember.
I think I want to say it's Finn.
Yeah, Finn, yeah.
I think.
Percussionist for Slipknot. And then February 25th, which is today, we had Brian Baker, guitarist for Bad Religion. And then we had Sarah Jezebel Deva, or Jane, I guess. They had parentheses. I don't know if that's like her nickname or whatever, but she was a vocalist for Cradle of Filth from 1994 to 2008, and then Angtoria from 2001 to 2011. So not a bad resume for her either. So that is our birthdays for this week. I don't know if you got any personal holidays or anything.
No, not this week. Not this week.
All right, I do have a niece that actually has a birthday today, Jaden. So
that's cool.
Happy birthday to her. So
nice.
She probably does not listen to metal, so it doesn't matter. I still put it out there because they're family. Yeah. So
of course.
Anyway, so that is our birthday. So happy birthday to all of those, and those I missed, I apologize. And then if anybody out there listening has a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. So
Absolutely.
All right, so we can jump into some news. There's a little bit going on this week, so
yeah, there was. It definitely picked up a little bit this week. So, like you said, without further ado, starting off over at blabbermouth.net this week. And unfortunately, we have a passing to pass along here. Michael Kupper, the former guitarist of the long-running German heavy metal band Running Wild, died this past Thursday, February 16th. Of course, I know if you're doing the math, that's like 2 Thursdays ago. Unfortunately, I didn't see this story until after our show went off the air last Saturday. So it kind of it was a little bit of late breaking news that we missed while we were live last week. So anyway, we still want to pass that along because, like I've said before, we're not the Grammys and we're not going to miss anybody if we can help it. So
you're right.
So he passed away on Thursday, February 16th at the age of 65. No cause of death has been revealed. Former Running Wild bassist Jens Becker expressed his condolences on the guitarist passing on Facebook, while Running Wild wrote simply, quote, "R.I.P. brother." And I don't know what his nickname is. It's MAJKMOTI. I don't know if it's Make Modi.
Oh yeah, I talked about that last week. So yeah.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how you pronounce that. So I'm not gonna keep saying it. I don't want to butcher it or anything else. Kupper was a member of Running Wild between 1985 and 1990, and he can be heard on the albums Branded and Exiled, Under Jolly Roger, Ready for Boarding, Port Royal, and Death or Glory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums in 5 years. Bands don't do that shit anymore. So unfortunately,
right.
After leaving Running Wild, Kupper reportedly worked for more than 15 years as a computer programmer. He later worked at a digital advertising company. In 2008, Modi started a band, Diorca, with his wife Melanie Dorca Ruiz. He also played with Metallian and Random. So yeah, absolutely. Honestly not super duper familiar with Running Wild's music. I do know who they are. I have heard of them. I don't know if I ever really listened to a whole lot of their stuff. So, but unfortunately, 65 still gone too soon as far as I'm concerned. So,
well, yeah, because you look at some of the bands that are still out there with Priest and Maiden and all those guys are in their 60s and 70s. I mean,
yep.
So still doing it. So it's 65 still. Wish we could all live to 80 or 90, but that's unfortunately we can't. So
yep.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to start off and piss everybody off. So here's this one's over from Loudwire. This is kind of something we've been talking about a little bit here and there. So I thought this was something that needed to be discussed, I guess. Live Nation increased its revenue in 2022 by roughly 166% over its 2021 revenue as the live event conglomerate's newly reported yearly earnings reveal. Early figures pointed to the huge jump. At the same time, ticket prices for concerts skyrocketed, as recent reports have shown. Live Nation, which includes the ticket retailer Ticketmaster, reported its fourth quarter earnings on Thursday, February 23rd, showing its 2022 total revenue reached a record $16.7 billion, according to Billboard. Indeed, that is a 166% increase, almost threefold over 2021 revenue of $6.27 billion. It's a 44% increase over pre-pandemic 2019 revenue of $11.55 billion, which is the percentage difference Live Nation touted to investors this week. A slow return of shows in 2021 and a bustling 2022 lent to the sum. Ticketmaster has long maintained a stronghold on concert ticket sales in the United States. In 2010, the retailer merged with Live Nation, the promoter, to become a singular company, which singular means
is illegal. Monopoly, which is illegal.
Last year, a group of U.S. concert goers sued Live Nation Entertainment, the corporation enveloping both companies, for allegedly violating antitrust laws and using what they call predatory selling. But the concert giant emerged victorious when the court ruled buyers have waived their rights to sue in the favor of arbitration per the company's terms and conditions. Live Nation's record 2022 revenue in Live Nation's 2022 SEC filing, the corporation breaks down its yearly numbers, explaining our concerts business generated $13.5 billion, or 80.9% of our total revenue during 2022. We promoted more than 43,600 live music and other events in 2022. In a revealing passage, it adds that approximately 270 million tickets were sold using our Ticketmaster systems. As ticket sales increase, related ticketing operating income generally increases as well. So, still, man, it's you're it's bullshit, man, because you're sitting there telling everybody you made all this money, but yet you're still, raping the fucking people and the fans of all this stuff when you're going to purchase shit with all these fucking stupid ass fees and stuff that doesn't need to be there because you're not doing anything to charge a fucking fee. So
no,
we're printing tickets, we're doing everything ourselves. You're not coming out of pocket on anything, but it's just really frustrating. And I know I'm not the only, me and you are not the only people that have talked about this. We've had people come up to us talk about this all the time, but it's definitely something that needs to be done about this. Man, it's just
And I know we've, like you say, we've talked about it before, and I said something. I think maybe it was last week or the week before last. When I was trying to not go into some long-winded rant, like I said, something.
It was last week.
There's, and not to do a rehash or anything, but there's gonna have to be some sort of breaking point.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a limit, and there's gonna be a breaking point, and I hope it hurts. Yeah. Not us. I hope it hurts them. I hope it does.
Well, it needs
because they've been getting away with this shit for too long, and it's just ridiculous. All these unnecessary
at least 13 years. I mean,
a long time. It's been a long time.
Well,
hell, I guarantee you it's been longer than that, because I mean I remember.
Well, I'm just saying that was when the two companies merged in 2010. So so I mean it's at least been that long. That's what I'm saying.
Something's got to change. Something has to change. Hell, this isn't anything related to that. But I mean, I went to make a payment of a bill the other day on the phone, and I was on the phone because I mean I didn't have the little coupon thing, so instead of mailing in a check, which I wanted to do, I couldn't find the coupon, so I called the number and I made a payment over the phone. They charged me $12.50 as a technology fee to make a fucking payment of a bill on the phone.
That's fucking stupid.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's fucking stupid. These people, anything to rip the fucking customer off, and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what the bill was, but I know like if some of these things that we can always, I'll be the first to tell you. Like I got pissed a long time ago about a bill. I had bought a brand new car back in 97, 98, somewhere around in there, and I paid on it for like a year or whatever. And then I was just like, man, like they're raping me and all these fucking interests and all this other bullshit. So I called the bank that I had it with at the current time and said, hey, is there anything we can do? No, you're stuck. I'm like, okay, fuck you then. So I went and talked to my bank, and they got me a lower interest rate and kept the same amount of years on it. So it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like there's options out there in certain situations. Just like if a doctor did that to me, I wouldn't. I'd be changing doctors because that's what I'm saying. There's options on some of this stuff where we like if it's a house payment or something, I kind of understand. You got a window with it. You definitely don't want to try to refinance right now. So,
but that's that.
With the interest rates. But I'm just saying, like there's options out there to.
But the thing that sucks is like people like you or I. We have to jump through hoops, and we have to do all this looking around and all this. We have to search for our options to try to help us.
Right.
That's what sucks. I mean, we're the ones that have to do all of the fucking legwork to get any kind of reprieve from all this crap. And then corporations, companies like Ticketmaster and stuff, they can charge whatever they want because they know that people want to go to these shows. And like I say, you and I, we still buy tickets because we still want to go see these shows. We want to go to concerts and sporting events and comedy shows, whatever. We still want to go. So we're kind of screwed one way or the other. I mean, this is one of those instances where we can protest with our wallet, but at the same time, we shouldn't have to.
Right.
We shouldn't have to do that because, I mean, there was a 2-year period where no one could do anything. And I guarantee you that hurt Ticketmaster. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I guarantee it hurt everybody, even them. So, I mean, everyone suffered. So now that everything is 99.9% back to normal, and we can get out, everyone can get back to, companies can get back to making money. People like you or I can go back to, going out and going to entertainment options, whatever they may be. But we shouldn't have to be the ones. We're the ones who are still suffering because now it's like they're trying to make up for lost time and all this other shit, but that's not fair. And I know life isn't fair. I get that. But at the same time, when it's intentionally unfair, that makes it worse.
That's like saying say the Titans come out and said, "Hey, we got to raise ticket prices because we just took this guy and we're paying him $20 million a year." Who the fuck told you to pay him $20 million a year? I ain't paying for that shit. Right. That was your decision. Like, why in the fuck should we pay for it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that happened, but I'm just saying that's kind of the way I feel about it. Hey, we're booking Guns N' Roses, so now we got to charge you $400 because we're booking them. Like, motherfucker, you the one that booked them. I'm like,
yeah.
And I hate to be that way, but I think that's ridiculous because there are so many festivals out there right now that you can go see. And actually, Guns N' Roses is headlining Aftershock. So just fucking go buy an Aftershock ticket for $300 for a whole fucking weekend,
right?
And still see Guns N' Roses. So
yeah, to see that, I would rather do that because there are other bands there. So yeah, I would rather do that.
And then when I seen them at Louder in Life, they still put on a 2-hour show. So I mean,
see, there you go.
So I mean, it's still it's probably not going to be much different seeing them by themselves. So
it's just like I say, it's going to get to the point where there's only so much blood you can get from a stone, and eventually as consumers and customers, whatever the hell you want to call us, eventually we're going to be like, we're done. We can't. Not that we don't want to, we can't. You guys have literally priced your customer base out.
Yeah. Well, just think we were at Bridgestone with Megadeth, and I didn't pay that much for. I think I may have paid $100 for both of our tickets to be on the floor. So we were like right there.
Yeah, that's reasonable. And yeah, I don't know how much our Megadeth tickets were because Kayla actually got her tickets as a birthday present.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much her seats cost, but again, we've talked about the Bay Strikes Back tour. That those tickets were $30 a piece to see those three bands. I would pay that every day.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'd pay that every day. And then I think the Machine Head tickets were 35 or 40.
Yeah, 35, I think. Yeah,
I'd pay that every day.
Well, yeah, because
I would absolutely pay that every day.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're only getting the one band, Machine Head, you're still going to get 2.5 to 3 hours of Machine Head. So
exactly. So
for $30, it's like
right. Yeah, I would. Yeah. So those ticket prices, I pay those every time. Absolutely. I absolutely.
Which I think I just pay like I don't know, $70 some odd dollars to see Parkway Drive and that tour just a couple weeks ago. So I mean, that's for two tickets.
And I'm pretty sure all in the Slipknot tickets. I'm pretty sure all in was less than $100.
See, that's crazy.
So it can be done. It can fucking be done. Don't tell me it can't, because it can be done.
Yeah, it's crazy to I don't know. Like I said, hopefully something at some point breaks and. I mean, and probably has to start with like the artists and be like, hey, we're only going to go to this venue if you sell tickets through Eventbrite or something. So Ticketmaster and it's not getting anything, or
right?
Whatever the case may be. But I mean, something like that's going to have to happen before anything. But I'm sure like the bands don't have no say so over that either. But because the venues choose where they want to sell the tickets through, but
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's gonna. I hope it happens. In the not too distant future, but it's gonna take a big artist. It's gonna take an artist like a Guns N' Roses or a Metallica or something like that. But I mean, we all know, of course, if any of you guys have listened to the show at all, I'm sure you guys heard the amount of money that Metallica has made on ticket sales. So they're probably not in no hurry to. Of course, that's another thing. How much more money does Metallica? Don't get me wrong, massive Metallica fan, but how much more money does Metallica need from ticket sales?
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, they're billionaires off of just ticket sales.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a little ridiculous. I mean,
it's a lot ridiculous. It really is.
All right, I guess we better move on.
Yeah, we probably should. All right, and then this was probably definitely the big story of the week. I know that we let off the show with a passing, but we're always gonna do that out of respect, even if there's a arguably quote unquote bigger story. It's just out of respect. So this one was obviously over at practically every news outlet, but staying over at blabbermouth.net, industrial metal pioneers Fear Factory have selected Italy's Milo Silvestro to take the reins as vocalist for the band's next era. Fear Factory's Dino Cazares comments, quote, "It's time to introduce the world to our new vocalist. The search was long and meticulous, but I know for sure we've got the right guy. It's a big week for us in Fear Factory as we make our final preparations for our return to the live stage touring across the U.S., beginning February 25th. Hey, that's today. On the Rise of the Machine tour. We can't wait to get out on the road and start kicking some ass. The machine will rise," end quote. Silvestro states, quote, "This is a huge opportunity for me. I've been a fan of the band for many years, and it feels very surreal, but I'm excited to be part of it. I know I have some massive shoes to fill, but I'm here to do it in the best way possible and give justice to the vocal legacy of this legendary band," end quote. A short documentary about Fear Factory's new vocalist can be seen below. You guys will have to, search that out for yourself. But they can find it on YouTube. You can find it at the bottom of this story. But it's out there. So let's see what we got. This Saturday, being today, February 25th, Fear Factory will hit the road with headliner Static X on the Rise of the Machine North American tour. The 42-date trek will also feature Dope, as well as selected dates with Mushroom Head and Twisted. In a recent interview with Australia's Wall of Sound, Cazares once again opened up about his band's search for a new vocalist following the departure of Burton C. Bell more than 2 years ago. Regarding how he is preparing the new singer for the inevitable barrage of criticism once his identity has been revealed, he said, quote, "I had a lot of preparation with him because he's going to have to be able to not only fill some big shoes, which he can vocal-wise, but he's never been inside that arena where you're going to have the media, you're going to have internet trolls coming after you. So that's one of the main things I'm getting him prepared for, because some people just can't handle that emotionally." And he goes, and the quote goes on and on and on, but that's just a rehash of a story that we talked about either earlier this year or at the end of last year when the singer search was first revealed and all that stuff. So no need to rehash all that. So, but congratulations to Milo Silvestro, and kind of looking forward to see how it works out for him.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that where he had did the Dialectic song.
I haven't. I've seen that the video is out there. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, he did a good job. I thought so. I mean, it was pretty good for him, I think so.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the good thing is you bring in a new singer, and I know we talked about it. I know we've talked about it a little bit with the transition in Arch Enemy from Angela Gossow to Alyssa White. You bring in a singer who can still do the guttural sound that they've been known for, but Alyssa's got the ability to add the clean vocals. So Milo is going to bring his own style while at the same time kind of doing Burton C. Bell's legacy some justice, which is always good if a singer can do that, kind of pay homage to the past while adding a new element to the present and future. So I think it's going to work out for them. Dino definitely did his fucking homework.
Yeah.
So I think
it's been what, almost 2 years or right at 2 years, or so it's been, they didn't rush into anything, that's for sure. So
yeah, and he interviewed, and we talked more than once about some of these other singers that he interviewed, and I'll be honest, some of the names escape me, but I do know that and I can't remember her name, but I know that she's the singer of Dino's other project.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about, and so he didn't just keep the search to male vocalists.
Right.
He went out and interviewed, males, females, all he wasn't just keeping it just to, one gender. So he did his due diligence. So
all right, so here's some good news. This one's over from Loudwire as well. So congrats are in order for Tetrarch drummer Ruben Lemus. Of course, there's a photo there, but there's a little insert photo. I guess it just says insert, so I'm guessing that's what it was. I'm just copying and pasting a lot of times, so I didn't catch that part. So I usually cut that out, but I didn't catch this time. So anyway, he recently became an American citizen. So the band shared the news on February 23rd, the day that Lemus was officially granted his citizenship. Their Instagram post shows the drummer sporting one of the band's T-shirts while posing in front of the American flag and a flag for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, while he holds a tiny American flag of his own. In a modern drummer intro from 2017, Lemus wrote of his background, finding a fascination with the drums after seeing someone play them in church and eventually playing on a makeshift kit of pots and pans. And his mother made him so he was doing death metal. Okay. Made him pretty much. I'm just kidding. Anyway, his mother made him until he got his own kit around the age of 10. He eventually joined a touring band in Venezuela, but revealed that the political situation in his country made him decide to make the move to the U.S. in 2014 out of fear for his safety. It was there he met the members of Tetrarch, joining the band in 2015. These guys have become my family. I have no one else here, and it was just a perfect fit, he said, the drummer at the time. In their recent post sharing Ruben's American citizenship, the band wrote, "Today, our very own @Ruben of Tetrarch officially became a U.S. citizen. When we met Ruben 8 years ago and he officially became part of Tetrarch, he had recently moved here from Venezuela to follow his dreams of being a drummer. He knew almost no English, but we connected with him on a level deeper than any language could ever express, and that was with music. Now, 8 years later, we couldn't be any more proud of having him along on this journey. We love you and are proud of you, @Ruben of Tetrarch." So good news there. That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I always love to hear that.
Yeah, and Tetrarch's one of those younger bands that we talk about too. That's definitely got the skills and the actually the fan base. I think at this point to be that band. A couple albums from now that we talk about. Maybe taking the spotlight. So I mean.
Well, at least moving into the spotlight. I definitely don't know about taking it over, but taking their place in it somewhere. Yeah, I absolutely think so. You got Ruben, you got Diamond, who is a super duper underrated guitar player. Yes. I really, really think she's going to make some noise, no pun intended. But I mean, she's a fantastic guitar player.
Mm. Yeah, it only gets better from each album.
I think so. Yeah. So I think they're
pretty down to earth people too, which is cool because
you got a chance to meet them. Yeah,
my wife did. I didn't get a chance.
Oh, that's right. She rubbed that shit in hard, didn't she?
She still rubs it in. I met Tetrarch and like John Witherspoon with Slevin Dust. Fuck you.
She did. She rubbed that in hard.
Talk to a damn divorce lawyer, man. Fuck this shit.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. I'm going over to actually I take that back. I'm gonna rearrange my order here. I'm going over to Loudwire for one. This will kind of piggyback a little bit off of the ticket thing. A little bit. Over at Loudwire, there's no doubt the cost of going to a concert and everything that comes with that has gone up significantly in recent years, but not all of the rising costs can be attributed to the band, as other hands have been taking from the collective pot. In a series of tweets, architects have become the latest act to bring up the subject of venue cuts, in this case pertaining to the merchandise sold at shows, which we've talked about on more than one occasion here and have discussed with some of our guests here lately, and discussing the possibility of striking until a more fair deal is ironed out. Drummer Dan Searle posed the idea on Twitter, suggesting, quote, "Hey bands, when are we going to go on strike and get rid of these insane merch venue cuts? Or maybe we don't play until we get a cut of the bar. Can we just get this done ASAP, please?" End quote. Getting more into the specifics of why the topic was being raised, vocalist Sam Carter chimed in, quote, "Venue in Melbourne took 15% and it took 4 hours for them to get our merch girl a light," end quote. That opened things up to some of Searle's Twitter followers to pose ideas and offer reactions. One fan wrote, quote, "I've always wondered if bands could add a merch option when buying tickets, like 30 pounds merch credit for those who know they will get something. That way that money isn't actually tendered in the venue." Searle explained, "We are thinking about doing this." When another fan asked, quote, "How much does a band actually see from merch? I was at a gig the other week and spent 60 pounds on 2 vinyl. How much of that would the band get?" The drummer responded, "I believe CDs and vinyl are often a smaller cut, but we tend to sell those items as cheaply as possible. On clothes, arenas often charge 25% of gross plus VAT plus cards." And I don't know what some of this stuff is. So if there's any of you guys who know what he says, on clothes, arenas often charge 25% of the gross. I know what that is. VAT, don't know what that is. Card fee and quote unquote business rates. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean. They walk away with 10 to 100,000 pounds, and we pay for printing, shipping, designs, etc. Small margins. One Twitter follower countered, quote, "If a 30,000 capacity arena is providing the staff to sell plus count in and out, those are hefty labor costs." And then in parentheses, they say, "I'm not saying their rates are fair. It's a very different thing for a 200 capacity room to charge fees, especially if the band is selling their own merch." Searle responded, "Firstly, I don't think there's a single 30,000 capacity arena on the planet, but if there was, then they're probably going to be taking 100,000 pounds from the artist for one night of work. Should just about cover the workload of counting in and out, I imagine." He then added, "The promoter is already paying to use the venue, which is ultimately paid for in ticket sales that only exist because of, oh yeah, the band." The drummer then further made his point as to why something should be done, explaining, quote, "Fans would see bigger, better shows and pay less for merchandise. Or we can keep making billionaire dollar corporations richer. There's not a single band that wouldn't have their finances completely transformed if things were to change. There's no fathomable reason not to act other than Jesus Christ, Chris. There's no fathomable reason not to act other than apathy. And all it takes is everyone to say, no, we're not doing this anymore. You need us to exist." I mean, shit, there you go. That's exactly what I said just a minute ago. Eventually, it's all going to come to a head. Because at this point, if bands are even starting to float the idea out there,
right,
and something may happen sooner or later.
I hope so.
Yeah, circling back to his original idea when a fan questioned time for an artist strike, the drummer responded, "I genuinely believe so." Stray from the Paths, Craig Reynolds commented, quote, "It's almost like one company bought up all the venues during the pandemic so they could do this more often." The Devil Wears Prada's Jeremy DePoyster jumped into the conversation, stating, "Merch bar cut seems only fair, especially when our median fan ages are 30 plus and when a corporate venue owns the bar as well. Architects are not the only ones who are bemoaning the influx of corporations taking more from the live performance. Till last fall, Garbage front woman Shirley Manson spoke in broader terms in a post titled, quote, "The live music industry is broken." And there's a hyperlink to that in this story if you guys want to read that. She explained, quote, "Live music is under enormous strain. The average musician could no longer survive, let alone thrive under the current conditions. We are seeing so many precious talents buckle under the economic injustice of a system that does not pay the creative for their artistic output. Everyone is vying for a handful of venues in order to make a small amount of money to tide them over until the next show, most sailing without a dollar of insurance. A large percentage of musicians that you know and love are likely living hand to mouth." There's a little bit more of it, but if you want to read that story, then go ahead. So I thought this was very, very, and like you say, Jason, I didn't know you were going to bring up that story, but when I saw this one, I thought it was definitely something worth mentioning, because now not only are the fans talking about it, the people who are actually directly affected by it are are starting to make noise and they're starting to talk to each other about it. And I will say this from a personal standpoint, if in the short term there's no shows to go to, if in the long term it pays off, as a fan, I would take that hit for all of us because, we're just trying to go see a show, but we're not trying to buy equipment, maintain that equipment, haul that equipment.
Like the one guy said, though, it seemed like it just happened all of a sudden after the pandemic too. So that's kind of like it's kind of like some bullshit too, because it almost seems like, like Ticketmaster and what we talked about earlier, these venues are trying to make up for the money they lost during that, which had no fucking, that was at no fault of any of these bands or fans that shit happened. So why the fuck are you trying to take it out on them for? I do not know. Like it's bullshit. Like, I mean,
and some of these,
the risk of running a business. So
yeah. And if, and like the one guy said in the story, there are a lot more 200 capacity venues than 30,000 capacity arenas.
Right.
I mean, if you're talking stadium tour, that's different. Stadiums are different. Arenas don't usually get any larger than 20, maybe. Because I know that Joe Louis Arena for hockey used to have a capacity of 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
The new arena doesn't have a capacity like that. In Montreal, at their hockey games, they can get 22,000 in there, but that's like standing room only tickets and stuff like that. So, but you're not getting a 30,000 seat indoor venue.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that mainly because you got to take up some seating and stuff for the stage and everything.
Right.
So you can't seat those people.
Right.
So.
But those venues, like the football stadiums and baseball stadiums and stuff like that, those aren't the venues that are going to be affected.
Right.
Those, like the Brickyard Bar and Grill in Knoxville, places like that are the places that are going to disappear. Those places are going to disappear.
We need those places.
We do need those places because if bands, if these smaller bands can't come and get exposure, like if Hidden Intent wouldn't have been able to come to the United States to get exposure, if that venue wouldn't have been, of course, that we've talked about, that's a little bit of a promoter issue of why they played it that small. But regardless of that, a band like Hidden Intent and Offensive and Nervo Chaos and not Angela Sapatrita, because they should have never been in a venue that small. But anyway, the other bands on that bill, if a venue like that is unavailable to them to get exposure, those bands will not make it.
Right.
And that's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. So those bands need every dollar that they can get. Now, should the venues get no money? No. But in the instance of a band selling their own shit in a venue that they're already coming to, because that merch table in Knoxville didn't take up any space.
Mm-mm.
All four bands were selling stuff out of that one. What was that? That was maybe a 6-foot folding table. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Those bands weren't taking up any room. They were not in the way of anybody watching that show. So, whether or not anybody listening wants to say, well, that's a special circumstance. It really isn't, because when we went to, the merch table at the Signal for the Exodus and Testament show in Chattanooga was at the front. It was in the lobby. We walked right past it. The merch table at the merch table at Brooklyn Bowl for the Exodus and Testament show was off in one corner. It was out of the way next to the bar. The merch table for the Machine Head show at Eastside Bowl was back off in the back corner. So these merch tables don't take up enough space to hamper the attendees of the concert. Whether or not somebody from the venue is selling the merchandise or the bands are bringing their own people to sell the merchandise tables are not in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're taking up floor space. We're taking our cut for them to take up the 25 fucking square foot of floor space they're taking up. It's bullshit.
And half the time, like where they're set up at, you can't see the stage from there anyway. So
right.
I know it was that way at the the Parkway Drive show. They was off to the side of the stage, so where that was at. So if we were even standing there, we wouldn't have been able to see the stage anyway. So
right.
So that's not going to be an excuse with situations like that.
So to me, the argument from the venue side, like I say, other than because it's invalid. I mean, I know that when we interviewed Hex, that Stellan did say that they've been to venues where the venue provided an employee. That's different. I get it to an extent, but 25%.
That's bullshit. Yeah,
that's bullshit. So
10% maybe, but
maybe, especially if they're just providing one fucking employee.
Yeah.
Because if the venue is providing one employee, they're on the payroll from the venue already. Anyway. They're already being paid by the venue. So, so the more I see and hear about this, the more the argument from the venue side becomes invalid. The more and more I hear, the more the argument becomes invalid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And, like you said, at some point, there's a lot of bands that have already, expressed their opinions on this over the last, 6 months to a year that we've talked about this, this going on. So hopefully there's more bands that jump on board with this, and it's going to take a bigger band, I think, like you said earlier, and it got to be Guns N' Roses or Metallica. It could be a Megadeth or Lamb of God or somebody to that extent. I think that's big enough to make a change. So
I tell you what, there was one idea in that story that I really liked, because we like you or I, the people going to the shows would still get the merch they want, but it would also help the band cut down on overhead. Mm-hmm. Not having to lug all this stuff with them from one venue to the next. And of course it could potentially cost a person a job, but maybe.
Well, the thing is that they should say, okay, you show me receipt of your ticket at our website and we'll send you whatever tour shirt you want.
Exactly.
Or whatever, pick out whatever merch you want and we'll give you, 15-20% off of that merch because you bought the ticket first and then came here,
or something like that.
They're still able to make their money because like the whole whoever it was that in that story that floated the whole merch credit thing. I actually kind of like that idea, because then a band doesn't have to lug merch to the venue. Yeah.
There's no venue. There's no merch at the venue.
Right.
The fucking venue doesn't get any merch cut. I kind of actually like that idea a little bit. I do. At the time I purchased my ticket, I'll spend an extra $25 to buy a shirt, and then of course, and then that way, if you buy your ticket soon enough, you'll have the fucking shirt to wear to the concert if you want to.
At the show, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually kind of like that idea, to be completely honest with you. If bands start doing that, that is something I would look. That's something that I would look into, because then again, if a band can keep all of their merchandise in one central location and just ship it from there, you would probably actually, even with shipping costs, if all of the merchandise is in one spot, they don't have to load it, unload it, sell it, reload it, blah, blah, blah. Lather, rinse, repeat from one venue to the other. Even with shipping costs, you would probably merch prices would actually probably come down.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've been on the merch side of things, being in like I said, being in wrestling.
Yeah, the wrestling thing. Sure,
we do the merch thing. I know how you bringing that up all the time, but
I
have to share my experience, but on the matter. So we never went into a show as far as independently, and went into a show and they said, oh well, we need 20% of your whatever your merch sales is. No, that's how we made our money, because we had a flat fee that we made. And it's usually at least, gas money and a meal and extra, you know what I mean? So whatever extra you wanted, that was what you told the promoter, hey, this is what I'll do it for. So you go and you make your, 100, 200, whatever it was, wherever it was at. And then you go and you sell your merch, and that was your extra money. And I had shirts made in the when I made them, the more I made, the cheaper they were. for me to make.
Rates. Yeah, absolutely.
So I got bulk. Yeah, like I said, I got bulk rates. So if these bands are doing that because they're probably getting thousands of shirts at once. So I mean, they're it's not going to kill them to do something like that. It is killing them to be going to a venue, and the venue does that to them out of nowhere. This is the thing that I hate, because I remember seeing the story, and I can't remember the band, but I remember him calling them out in the show. At the end of the show, it was like they waited until they were there, unloaded, getting ready to play, and said, "Oh, by the way, we need 20% of your merch." And he's like, "What the fuck? Wait, what? This was never discussed." So you waited until they were about to go on to tell them this shit. And so that's where I have to okay, that's bullshit. Now, if you go in to the show already knowing that, then you could be like, you know what, fuck it, meet me out front. I'll sell you whatever you want. I ain't giving these people shit.
Well, and we have read stories of bands who are doing that. Yeah, we've done that. Hey, we'll be in the parking lot across the street. Yeah. Come meet us.
Get a fucking food truck and throw your shit in the damn bag. you know what I mean? So, I mean, hell, that's an option too. So,
hey, I am all for these. I am all for these guys finding alternative ways of selling merch. Like I say, if it comes down to me having to compromise a little bit, like maybe pay a little bit more for the ticket up front, but knowing that I'm going to get a ticket and a shirt, I would probably do that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure they could. Honestly, I'm sure they could set something up with Bandcamp too, because I don't think they take that much of a percentage from those guys. So
yeah, well, it would, even if they do, it would probably be a hell of a lot less than 20.
Oh yes, it's definitely less than that. So.
Because like I say, I understand that, like, if you're working together with a company, that they need to get they need to get their taste, but if their taste is a quarter of what you're doing, and you're doing all the production and the legwork and everything else, that's too much. Yeah. 5, 10 at the most, just for the opportunity. Mm-hmm. Especially when a venue's not doing any of the legwork, none of the designing, none of the printing, none of the shipping, none of the.
I would probably even go out and say that a lot of these bigger bands probably have their record label doing a lot of that for them. So they're probably not out a lot of money. But you got these independent guys that are, I always wondered, like a band like Nonpoint that's been around as long as they have, why they go to some smaller venues sometimes. But that could be why. That could be because they're not taking a percentage of their merch. Maybe it could be like, hey, I'm going to this one because they're not taking anything of my merch. So. Mm-hmm. Possibly. And honestly, I think that could be a situation, because I always see Rob Rivera, the drummer, always selling, played cymbals, and he'll autograph them for the fans or whatever and sell them on his site. Mm-hmm. So, I'm wondering, okay, well, if he's doing that here, then he's probably got a lot of stuff coming up to where they're getting a percentage of merch or something. So,
yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense of why some of these guys do some of the stuff that they do.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we could probably do the whole 3-hour show on this bullshit. So
we probably could, because we probably could, because it's really becoming an issue.
Yeah. I would actually love to revisit this with some band, some bands that would actually come on and the show and talk about, like, different bands, not just one band, like different band members from different bands to come on, even if it's like 15, 20 minutes, just to tell what they think, and do the whole 3-hour show that way, just to have different members of different bands come on here and be like, oh, this is what I've experienced, or this, and I think that getting a firsthand reaction from that thing, I think, makes a lot of difference to people. Just hearsay through a fucking social media source, I don't think a lot of people, it'll stick with a lot of people, but hearing it firsthand, I think a lot of people will be like, oh, fuck, that's fucked up.
We may have to try to set something like that up. We may have to.
It'd be pretty cool. I'm sure we could have at least 2 or 3 guests that would be willing to do that right now. So
probably
from the past, but that's fine. I mean, past, current, I don't care. And of course we always ask that question to the most of the bands that come on here anyway. So
yep. Especially trying to get a perspective on it from some of our overseas guests.
Right.
do they go through the same shit over there in Europe and wherever they are? So
yeah. Sorry, I went back to Facebook for a second because I was actually going to look for something real quick because I thought I needed to make an announcement on one of our bands that we interviewed. Just made a post. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, you want me to read another story real quick?
No. I got it right here. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, actually, that's not good news. Let's see. Oh, no, this was the one. I think that we were talking about the methane. We talked to last week. They actually put out there. I think this was something they couldn't talk about at the time, but because they didn't release the lineup yet. But they're actually going to be at the Powwow Rock Fest.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and I was trying to see where that was actually at. I don't. O'Leary's Valley by. I don't know exactly what country that is in or anything. I can kind of look this up. I guess. I think it may still be in Sweden. I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's in Stockholm. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's pretty cool that they got on that gig. I think that's one of the things he said we had coming up, and he really couldn't just announce on it. So,
yeah.
And then I did see something like on here saying that due to the circumstances beyond their control, they had to cancel. Methane and Frantic Amber had to cancel on a Nervosa show in Borland.
Oh man, that sucks.
So he said hoping to see you guys at Linkoping and Platins. So for just that one show, I guess they couldn't come to that one. So for some odd reason, but they're still good to go on the other two shows. And I think that's in April 5th, I think. So hopefully they're still they're good. I don't know what happened there, but we know shit happens, especially with the way things are. He was telling us how crazy it was over there anyway with the metal scene over there. You kind of have to be black or death metal, or they don't really acknowledge you much. So, which is crazy, but
I still think
a little more open. But
yeah, I still think it's an odd quirk that they don't schedule a lot of like weeknight concerts over there. That they kind of wild. Yes, they kind of keep it to Friday, Saturday, unless it's more of like a bigger name that comes over. I think that is.
So it kind of keeps you to being a hobby band more than it
more
does.
or less, yeah.
Yeah. So and that's not what most of these guys are trying to do. They're trying to make a living to this because they enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
and we enjoy listening to it. So especially like I said, the last few bands from over there, Methane and Zulu, and a lot of those bands are definitely on our playlist at this point. So
absolutely.
All right, sticking with Loudwire, this one has a story and then an updated part to it. So
cool. All right.
So bear with me. So
all right.
So I kind of wanted to go through the story first because I seen the update and I was going to do the update. And I said, you know what? I probably need to do the story first to kind of give everybody a reason why it's updated. So
yeah. We need the backstory. Yep.
Yeah. So while guitar great Steve Vai worked with Ozzy Osbourne on the song My Little Man for the Prince of Darkness 1995 album Osmosis, their working relationship went so well that they actually completed enough material for a full album, reveals Vai. Speaking with Eon Music, Vai says, I'm sitting on a whole Ozzy record, then confirming that it's shelved as he doesn't have any control or rights to it. That said, the guitarist recalls the experience saying, we did record some pretty good stuff. The interesting thing about that stuff we recorded from a guitar perspective is all of my rhythm guitar parts I use an octave divider, and that record doesn't sound like anything else. While diving deeper into how they come to record so much material, Vai recalls Ozzy had recorded about half of his record for the record company, and Sharon and the label wanted to get him together with some different songwriters to just get some more songs. So I was one of the ones that they wanted to get together with. It was really just to write some songs for Ozzy's record. that he would then take and go use for his record, and whoever he was working with on the record would record it. So I thought, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to do that. But continues. But Ozzy and I got carried away because we were having so much fun, and we ended up recording a lot of stuff. And then we started scheming, hey, let's make a new record. And all that was fine and good, and we got excited about it until the hammer came down. They basically said, "What are you doing? No, you've just got to take a song from Steve Vai and finish your record. We've already we're already in it for this much money, and Vai is expensive." In the end, My Little Man was the Vai contribution to the Osmosis record, but he reviews in his chat some of the other tracks that were under consideration. Sorry. One of the songs was Danger Zone. I had already written it, and it was already done. It was a Gash track. I thought, well, maybe he liked this, and I reworked it a bit, but it's on the shelf. Vai also reveals that Dying Day was a song that's on his Fire Garden album that was under consideration as well. He continued, there was some real heavy stuff because, as I mentioned, I used an octave divider on everything, and that was a conscious effort. I'm sorry, they kind of put a contraction in there that didn't need to be there. So I thought, okay, you're going to work with Ozzy and all that. All these incredible guitar players have played with Ozzy. What are you going to do? I was not going to be conventional. Yeah, that's not me, as you know, but I had to be accessible. So I thought I'm going to use an octave divider on everything. I mean, all the rhythm. Both artists have gone on to thrive in the time since. Vai most recently issued his Inviolate album last year and has a Vai Gash album set for 2023. Meanwhile, Ozzy released a star-studded album, Patient Number 9, last year. Now, here's the update. Steve Vai has clarified his comments surrounding his previous work with Ozzy Osbourne, revealing that while there was enough material for a full album, the songs were never completed. He writes in a social media post, in a recent interview, I spoke a bit carelessly about sitting on an entire Ozzy album, and then the clickbait headlines went viral. To clarify, Ozzy and I got back together around 96 and spent some time trying to come up with some potential songs for an album that he already had recorded. That record later became out as Osmosis. We demoed a handful of tracks, and then there was a bunch of bonus tracks built for him to check out. He ended up picking one song to use on the album, and that was My Little Man. It was re-recorded with his band, and it came out great. Only one other demo track from those sessions had an Ozzy scratch vocal on it, and I handed it in all the master demo tapes to the label and kept safety tapes of the tracks I personally built. All in all, there is and was enough music for a whole record, but those songs would require re-recording. The demos are bumpy road maps, but not the goal. I, like many Ozzy fans, would love if there was a secret hidden Ozzy album somewhere, only to be revealed to our surprised ears at a future time, but it wouldn't come from those sessions. Sorry for the confusion. So there's kind of a update on that story. I know I posted that story, the first story in our group, so yeah, I wanted to make sure I updated the actual story there. So kind of unfortunate. I think that would have been a pretty good collaboration there, in my opinion. But and like he said, I mean, how many great guitar players has Ozzy worked with? Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Randy Rhoads, Jakey Lee, Zakk Wylde. I mean, the list is pretty endless.
Yeah, Jeff Beck on this last album.
Yeah. So, Tony Iommi even, did some stuff on this last album. So, of course, he's worked with him in Black Sabbath as well. So, I mean, he's worked with some amazing guitar players. Yeah. So, Steve Vai would fit right in there. So,
yeah, as a quick aside to that, I keep seeing these, not continuously, but every now here a little more lately, especially since he won like the Grammy and stuff like that. I've seen a few stories where other artists have kind of it's kind of come off as sour grapes, where there's been some of these artists who have like, well, Ozzy's only famous because of the people he worked with. Well, no shit. No shit. And even Ozzy has admitted as much. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's kind of like I say, I mean,
what are they saying?
There was one guy, and like I say, I would have to look up this story in particular. One of the stories that I saw said that, if it wasn't for some of the musicians that Ozzy has worked with, that he wouldn't have had the career that he's had.
I mean, can't we say that about every band, though?
Exactly. That was kind of my first thought. It's like, well, any band that's had any sort of longevity is because it's the sum of the parts of the whole. So of course, so I don't know why I'm not exactly sure why, like, all of a sudden a couple of these guys have started picking on Ozzy. I don't fucking get it. But like I say, even Ozzy himself has admitted, it's like, I have worked with some very, very, I think he even said, I have been lucky to have worked with some of the, so that whole thing is not lost on him. He knows that.
Yeah, but this is the thing about some of those people. Like, if you ask Zach Wild that question, he's going to say, "No, I owe my career to Ozzy,"
and he has.
Yeah, and he said that. And so you can't really say that it's because you could use that in multiple different ways. Like, would we know Jakey Lee without being an Ozzy Osbourne?
Possibility, but there's no guarantees.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, would we know who Randy Rhoads was if he wasn't an Ozzy Osbourne? I mean, that kind of. I mean, we kind of knew who he was, but
because of Quiet Riot, yeah. But
I mean,
but he wasn't a household name at the time.
No. He became a household name.
Yeah, working with Ozzy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not really that. He became a household name because of his death, unfortunately.
Oh well, no, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Which is unfortunate. Same with Cliff Burton. Those guys are known more for after their passing
posthumously, yeah.
Which is kind of a sad thing to say, but a lot of people don't recognize these players until they see that. And they're like, oh, well, he must have been good if he was in Metallica, or he must have been good if he played with Ozzy. So let's go back and listen to this stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying younger people don't know those things, like we did. We grew up in that era where, at the time I was 11 years old or something, 9 years old or 10 years old. I was already watching MTV or whatever. Yeah. Or, at the time, whenever all that stuff, went down. So,
right. Yeah. I don't know.
When they come across the MTV news and told us, oh, well, Cliff Burton, I already knew who Cliff Burton was. So,
right. Yeah.
But everybody didn't. So that's what I'm saying. Like, unfortunately, that's kind of the way things go. We know that a lot more money's made after they're passing than they do while they're here. So,
well, yeah, that happens
most of the time. So,
yeah, that happens a lot in all sorts of different art forms, not just music, but
right.
But yeah, so it was just one of those things that kind of. It's just one of those things that kind of pissed me off. Almost like people are like just like picking on him, like he's the only musician who's made a career out of the talent that's been around him.
Well, some of the the one generation
just pissed me off. The timing
some of the generations kind of are come off as ignorant because of the shit they say. They got all these Googles and everything at their fingertips to search stuff. Instead of searching, they just open their fucking mouth without knowing anything. Just like, oh, well, Post Malone's going to make a career out of Ozzy. Man, Ozzy's been around fucking 50 years before Post Malone. Hell, he was making music when Post Malone was still a fucking, sperm and a nutsack somewhere. So.
Well, hell, I mean, shit. I don't know when Post Malone was born, but I guarantee you that Black Sabbath was making music before he was even formed as a fucking sperm cell.
Yeah.
So that's a long ass time. So
right. So, but that's what I'm saying. Just people just say stupid stuff. I think I seen something a while back where Paul McCartney did something with a artist, and they were like, "Oh man, this Paul McCartney guy's going to blow up now." I'm just like, dude, do you know what the fuck you're talking about? Like, you're talking about one of the fucking Beatles, you dumbass. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
like I said, people. I mean, you got research at your fingertips. Just fucking use it before you open your stupid ass mouth.
Yeah. I mean, even if you only do take a few minutes to do a little bit of reading, just do some reading. All right, going over to
becoming a rant show.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. All right, going over to the PRP for a little bit. Lawrence Dinamarca has announced that he has stepped down from Swedish death thrashers Carnal Forge. He had held that position since 2013. The announcement of his exit follows the departure of guitarist Jari Kuusisto in January of 2022. Dinamarca commented overnight, that was February 20th, that was earlier this week when the story came out. Quote, "Hi, I will not be a part of the band Carnal Forge anymore." Well, it's direct and right to the point. "I wish the remaining guys all the best of luck with the band and in the future. To the positive side, I'm aiming to work more as a freelance drummer. I've always liked to play with different groups and people to learn new music styles and approaches. So if anyone needs drums on their tracks or a live drummer, feel free to send me a DM. All right, take care, everyone. Hashtag only positive vibes. Hashtag aiming for the future." End quote. So there you go. I mean, it definitely doesn't sound like anything acrimonious or anything like that. It just sounds like someone just needed a little bit of a change. So we'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, it does. It happens. We'll keep you guys up to date on who kind of comes in and takes over behind the kit for Carnal Forge when we hear something.
Which, so that's kind of why a lot of these bands. Good
luck to Lawrence.
That's why a lot of these band members go out and do.
Go ahead.
This is why a lot of these band members go out and do certain projects and stuff, because they get kind of stale doing their thing that they're in. So
yeah, right.
Which is probably why Max Cavalier is in 20 bands. But
yep.
Him and Mike Portnoy.
They should hook up. I'm telling you.
They might as well. Like that's why I said I'll just make a band out of all the guys that do different bands and just make
you got to get
one super group and be done with it.
Yeah, you got to get Max Cavalera, Mike Portnoy, and Tim Ripper Owens in a group together for something.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's.
I'd listen to it.
I'm still anxious to hear some of the new stuff from KK's Priest, man. The way they're talking, dude, it's going to be pretty killer. So
yeah, I am too.
All right, this one's kind of interesting. This one's over from Metal Hammer. Hair Metal Shotgun Zombie Massacre, a heavy metal horror movie featuring cameos from Lamb of God's Randy Blythe, Slayer's Tom Araya, and Morbid Angel's David Vincent, and actor Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, is now available to download. Directed by Joshua Allen Vargas, the film first hit cinemas back in 2020, although its theatrical release was interrupted by the pandemic. Now ready to watch via its official website, Hair Metal Shotgun Zombie Massacre follows the story of a hair metal band that, after deciding to record their debut album from within a creepy cabin located in the middle of a cemetery, accidentally opened a gate that allows demons to possess the corpses that reside on the grounds. While consuming copious amounts of weed, cocaine, and alcohol, the musicians try to survive the night. Filmmakers behind the comedy horror state between a catastrophic hurricane, a pandemic, then the death of our producer, we were unsure that this would ever come out, but now we can turn it loose into the world. I'm excited that everyone can finally see our sleazy metal zombie movie. The reactions we got during screenings and our limited theatrical were amazing. Tom Araya's scene is worth the price of admission alone. We hope you enjoy it. Vargas said in a previous statement, to have so many metal legends involved in this project is such a dream come true. Tom, Randy, and David kill it in this movie. Well, hopefully that's a pun intended.
Right, yeah.
It was so cool for Philip to write and to record Tom's theme song for us. Philip and Kate Richardson are easily two of the coolest, most beautiful people to walk on the planet. Norman was an absolute blast to work with. It doesn't take but a 3-second Google search to see that Norman is a total metalhead, having performed on stage with Anthrax and riding bikes with Marilyn Manson. I've been a fan of his since he was mopping the prison floor in the movie 8mm, and the guy in one of the most naturally talented actors on the planet. This is a film made for fans of horror and metal by fans of horror and metal, and it was important that the film and soundtrack reflected that, from having Philip do Tom's theme song to having 80s metal legends Hellstar do the music for the band in the movie.
Cool.
So that's something to check out there. Find out. I should have looked and seen where it was available, but they said you could go to their website and download it. So there's at least that. So
yeah, hair metal.
Pretty cool.
What is it? Hair metal
Zombie Massacre. Yeah.
Hair metal zombie massacre. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out.
So, interesting to say the least. I'll probably watch it just because I finally watched Studio 666, which was
I still need to watch that.
It was kind of cheesy, but it was good.
That's kind of the funny thing is it was supposed to be kind of like a comedy horror thing,
Well,
it wasn't supposed to be 100% serious, though. That's the thing,
right? So to me, I looked at it as their way to explain why they did a death metal album, kind of, which was
right.
Which was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah, it was good. It really was.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna give a lot of it away because it was definitely interesting. Yeah. Like I said, it had some cheesy lines and stuff in it, but it was still. it actually had oh man, one of the chicks that was in it actually played in American Horror Story. So I mean, it had a kind of some well known, it had some decent known actors in it. So which was surprising. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But,
nice.
It was like I said, it was definitely what it was meant to be. So
yeah,
I've seen a lot worse. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Without even having seen it yet, I guarantee you that's probably true. Yeah. All right, I've got one more story for sure. I know I told you that one of my stories was more of a discussion piece, and then I've got a couple of things to add to the headline segment. So
okay,
all right, staying over at the PRP, this one was really, really strange to me. Technical death metal group Rings of Saturn recently found out one of their officially authorized YouTube channels has been hacked. In a bizarre twist, it is currently being used to promote streams of what looks to be a food truck restaurant and card games. Furthering the confusion, the unwanted additions to the channel appear to feature a mixture of Korean and Swedish languages as well. While not the official YouTube home of the aforementioned group, the compromised channel is instead authorized quote unquote topic channel overseen by their distributor TuneCore. If you've been on the YouTube channel for a while, there's a good chance you've run across the topic channel of popular music artists. Those channels are usually set up by a digital music distributor with approval from the artist to post their various works on the service, thus providing an official way to stream them. Rings of Saturn outlined their case on Twitter amid an appeal to YouTube to get the issue resolved. And then there are a couple of interesting screenshots in the story if you want to check those out. But like I say, I thought that was very, very strange when I saw it. And one of them, let me do this real quick. I'm going to move this off to the side real quick. And because one of these things is absolutely Korean. So, no, not that. That. Share screen and window and that one right there. Share that. Turn that on. Yeah, cause I don't know, because this is one of the screenshots right here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I don't know if you can like full screen it on your guys's. So yeah, it's all this right here. This is the Rings of Saturn. It's got the header right here, and then this is all.
Wow.
Like. So it is very, very strange. I don't know what the hell this. Yeah. So
hey, I tell you what, if you want to do something, they want to do something constructive. Hack in a Ticketmaster and make the prices cheaper.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, help us all out.
That'll show you, motherfuckers.
So this is one I'm gonna keep my eye on to see what happens with their appeal. Because I would be very interested to see. And then I'm not 100%. And then this right here at the bottom, I can't read it super duper well. Yeah, the screenshot isn't like the best quality, but like you can see right up here, it's got this Korean chick, and then this heading is in Korean. And then right here, it looks like all of these videos, whatever the hell they're videos of, it looks like this is the Swedish language stuff that they were referencing in the story. So I have no freaking clue what's going on with this, but it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on, because I thought it was really freaking strange when I first heard about it. So I'm gonna definitely keep my eye on the progress of that one. So
that is
very, very interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, so this is some potential good news. We'll see. This is my last story, by the way, over at Metal Injection.
Okay.
I kind of shared this one on the page too, but I wanted to make sure I covered it on the show. So Killswitch Engage parted ways with vocalist Howard Jones in 2012, but over the years have improved their relationship. Jones has been joining Killswitch Engage on stage here and there to play some of his old material, and even had him in the studio for a guest spot on their 2019 album Atonement. Now, in what can only be called an extremely pleasant surprise, Jones and his former Killswitch Engage guitarist Adam Dukowitz have revealed they're working on new music together. The project will be the first time Jones and Dukowitz have been in a band together since Killswitch's Engage self-titled album in 2009. Nothing else is known about the group right now, aside from that they're demoing new material, but still it's safe to get stoked. No word of this project has anything to do with Jones being in the studio last year with System of a Down bassist Shavo Odajan. I know I'm going to kill that name, but and Winds play guitarist Michael Montoya. As for Dukowitz, he and current Killswitch Engage vocalist Jesse Leach put out their first new Times of Grace record in a decade in 2021. So that could be some potentially good news. Hopefully we get to hear something off of that here pretty soon. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I know that news definitely made Susie happy. So.
Oh yeah, she was. She was just like, "Oh my God, did you see this?" I'm like, "Yes, I already posted it in the Metalheads." So she goes,
I knew she'd be.
She was so excited. That's where she's seen it at. She was so excited she didn't even know I'm the one that posted
it. Well, that's gratitude for you.
I know, right?
That's gratitude for you. Oh man. All right. So yeah, that's well, we're already an hour and a half in, and I know you guys are getting ready to head out. So I will hold on.
Oh man, we're good. Like, you know.
Well, I'll still hold on to this one story because like this one story I got literally is not. It's not a time sensitive thing.
Okay, so that's fine.
We can hold on to that one.
I had a list to go through too. So.
Oh hell, I've got, dude. I mean, if we're gonna do the list of the week segment this week, I have literally had 3 lists I've been holding on to while we were doing the interview. So yeah, I'm good. I've got a few I can choose from, so that's fine.
Okay. Well, we'll see what yours is and the one I do, and we'll decide which one we want to do then. That's fine.
Okay.
How's that? That'll work.
Sure.
I mean, like I said, none of them are kind of pressing.
No, so that's the cool thing about thing.
We can kind of pick and choose which one we want to do. So.
Yeah, that's actually the cool. That's another cool thing that I like about the fact that we decided to discontinue the history segment and go into the new list of the week thing. It doesn't have to be anything nailed down to any particular time frame. So considering we had interviews the last month, that was one of the things we were able to kind of put on hold. So that's another plus about doing this segment. So I like that.
All right. So other headlines, then I'll kick off with those. Foo Fighters have a pinball machine coming out soon. That kind of a big thing, especially when that's one of the main things I play when I go to the arcade is all the Iron Maiden and Metallica and AC/DC pinball machines. So.
I've always been a fan of pinball myself.
One of the things hopefully when I get my building done, I actually get me one of those to put in my room. So
that would be cool.
Rhode Island remembers victims of the deadly Great White Concert Fire that happened on February 20th, 2003. And also, if you ever want to see that documentary, that is on Reels. I think they keep that up every year for a little while. So I kind of
Now see that right there. Even though we don't do the segment anymore, that right there is like one of those things that every year you go ahead and you remember because I mean it was like that show, the Dime Bag show, obviously, Ozzy biting the head off the bat, so even though we don't do it formally anymore, there are things that need to be touched on every year. There are anniversaries and there are remembrances that need to be done. So, and that's one of them right there. Because what was it? 200 people or something like that. It was a lot of people who perished in that fire. So
yeah.
If you want to go watch that documentary, it's out there. But man, it's sad. It's very sad, of course, as you could imagine. But yeah, it's sad. It's a very, very extreme. There's no adjectives there's no amount of adjectives I could use.
No words.
There aren't. It was extremely unfortunate what happened.
It is, yeah. And unfortunately, we have to go through these things to you learn from your mistakes, I guess, pretty much.
You do.
And like, that's kind of set a standard where you do not do any kind of things like that indoors anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how small the pyros are.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was saying about that Parkway Drive show. You can't use pyros indoors, but man, they like that show, not just them. I mean, it was Currents and Memphis Mayfire and those guys. The light show for all three bands whoever done that light show for all that is fucking amazing, dude. And I give them props. I don't know who did it, but props to whoever did it. Like I said, not only the band makes the shows, just so you know. So
yeah.
That's the guy that's not on the stage. So
yeah. Well, see, that's one of the great things about like we talk about tech, the advances in technology. You don't, of course, and like Slipknot had a little bit of pyro at their show that we went to, but by and large, with the advances in computers and lighting and everything now, with LED lights and everything, and the right computer programming, I mean, and like you say, you just saw it, some of the effects you can do with LED lighting and computers is just mind-boggling. It's insane. Video screens and LED lights and all this other shit. It's just nuts.
All right, and also 20 years ago, 2/24/2003, Robert Trujillo joined Metallica. So
yeah,
another big thing happened 20 years ago. So
yeah, one hell of an anniversary there.
Yeah, Mr. Biggs, "To Be With You" video surpasses 100 million views on YouTube. Congratulations to them. Hopefully, we get to interview Eric Martin and we'll congratulate him ourselves. But
you're right, yeah.
Brand of Sacrifice is added to the Lorna Shore, Shadow of Intent, Body Snatcher, and Boundaries tour. I only bring that up here instead of the tour because we kind of talked about this a couple weeks ago and thought that was what was going to happen since they were on the bill for the after tour. So we kind of thought that was going to be the case. So
yeah, there were rumors floating around already. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that in the other headlines so we didn't have to go through that whole conversation again. So
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Then the Guns N' Roses sponsored NASCAR crashed. So even the cars for Guns N' Roses can't stay together. So
that's true. Nice, very nice.
I missed my spot. I missed my spot on the Ticketmaster thing or the venue thing. I was going to say, and I was like, well, fuck, I done missed my joke now, so I just so I gotta get them in when I can. So
yeah, it's definitely a timing thing. It is,
yeah. So half of the Battlecross band reunites in the band Finality. So any Battlecross fans want to check that band out, there you go. And I mean, if they come out with something new, we'll probably be covering it anyway. So Typo, Negative, and Crowbar members form a new band called IAM. That's Eyes and EYE. So maybe we'll be hearing something from that soon. This is probably one of the most interesting ways to put metal that I've heard, and I actually agree with it because we talk about it a lot. And then I read this and I thought, man, you know what? He's got a fucking point. Like, why do we worry about it so much? But Arch Enemy's Michael Lamont says metal should stay underground. I don't want it in the mainstream. This is an alternative to the mainstream. And I thought about this because we talk about that a lot. And I was just like, that's actually a good point. Like, if it gets out there, then it probably gets changed into something that it's not. So
gets ruined. Yeah.
So
I saw that too. And he does have, and like, I know we've talked about it before, and I've said before, it's like a double-edged sword. On one hand, you want everyone to you want it to be huge, and then on the other hand, you know what? Heavy metal is not for everybody, and it's ours. So yeah, I definitely kind of see where he comes from, and I do lean more towards. I definitely do lean more towards his point of view, but at the same time, it's still frustrating when to harp on the Grammys again when you have an organization that does want to recognize the greatness of the genre, but then they won't put it on TV.
Right.
So,
this one's kind of interesting too. Someone received 1,000 emails meant for Bring Me the Horizon's Ollie Sykes because they have the same name.
Oh.
So hopefully there wasn't any, pictures in there. So, or maybe there is.
Maybe there is. Yeah. Dan, if you're, you're welcome to come in if you want to come in. You don't got to wait in the wings over there. So. he's like in the studio, but he's in the background. So I mean, I don't know if he wants me to invite him in or what. But I mean, hell, he can come in anytime he wants to. So he's just kind of lurking in the background. So I'll leave that up to him.
Oh, he's watching.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sid Wilson proved he was crazy enough to join Slipknot by headbutting Clown multiple times at a show. So I would actually love to see video of that.
I kind of hope it's out there, but
yeah.
And at the same time, I can close that tab.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
That was actually the one story that I had. That was
okay.
Yeah, gotcha. But I'm not upset about that at all. So.
Toru Okada, creator of the PlayStation logo sound, dead at 73. He was also in a band called Moonriders. So
that sucks.
Yeah, well, 73s. Still, I don't know. For some reason, I still feel like this day and age 70 is young. Because
I mean, and the funny
longevity of a lot of people like nowadays is just crazy. So
yeah, and especially Asian people. They do live a long time.
Mm-hmm. Marilyn Manson accuser claims Evan Rachel Wood manipulated her into making false allegations. So that's probably some good news for him.
Yeah.
Disturbed will skip festivals this summer so they don't have to share the production. So that's pretty cool, I guess.
I kind of get that logic to a point. I get it.
Well, I mean, Disturbed's one of those bands where they got to where you seen like a festival, you're like, I bet Disturbed's there. I mean, that's just kind of like the way, and I feel like a lot of bands are kind of falling in that category. Even like, bands like I love, like Killswitch Engage and stuff. Lamb of God, even, you think. Of course, I kind of feel why Lamb of God would be at Blue Ridge because they're from Virginia. So it's kind of like, well, I don't have to go anywhere to go across the street and play. So, so I mean, why not? I mean, you're going to make some good money just to be in your own hometown. So. But yeah, a lot of these bands are kind of like you see it and you're like, but they're at the festival. But
right.
But I mean, like I said, I think they need to mix it up a little bit more than they do. But
yeah, I mean, especially
like I said, these organizers know like how much they charge already, so they're like, okay, well, I know I can get this band for this much money. So it may come down to where they're getting all these other bands, and they say, okay, well, we got this left over. What bands can we get that we know what they cost? I mean, that could be a situation too, but
that's possible.
So. Definitely. And then this is kind of interesting. Machine Gun Kelly guitarist Sophie Lloyd describes working with Matt Trivium's Matt Heafy on a solo album. So she's working with Heafy on some stuff. That may be pretty good. So
interesting.
And then last one I have here is ex-Fear Factory vocalist Burton Seabell is to debut a photography series at the Florida Art Gallery. So
cool.
Moving on to some different things there. And I know he's still singing for, I can't remember the name of the band. But yeah. So that was all the other headlines there.
All right. The couple that I had, Knucklebones is coming out with a couple of brand new Black Sabbath statues. Let's see. The one is the witch that can be found as the cover art on the debut album, and then the second one is one of the fighter pilots featured on the 1978 album cover for Never Say Die. So those are coming out. They're available. They are available for pre-order. Doesn't say where they'll be complete release, but those are coming out. And then this one is an update from a story I talked about a year or two ago. Well, Perry Strickland leaving Violence, and in his place for the upcoming tour, Adrian Aguiar from Ex Mortis is going to be filling in for him. So
okay.
a little bit of an update there. So not necessarily a permanent fill in, but they do have Adrian filling in for the tour.
Pretty good. That's a pretty good fill in. So
yeah, so I'll definitely keep you guys updated on whether or not that turns into something more permanent or if they hold some auditions after the tour. So
did you see where that I don't remember what band member it was, but one of the band members from Death were bitching about the Chuck Schuldiner action figures that they put out. They said, "You don't even fucking look like him." They were mad about it. So.
No, I didn't see that.
I can't remember which one that was. I could look it up, but I can't remember.
Yeah, no,
I just remember vaguely reading that, and they were just saying, they were saying that they were mad about it because it didn't even look like him. I was like, oh wow.
Well, maybe they used the same company that made those WWE toys for like 1 or 2 years. Maybe they used that same company.
Right? Yeah, because some of them didn't even look like each other.
No, so
not even close.
No, they may have used that same company. Yeah, but no, I didn't see that. But
yeah,
that's kind of a shame too. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get that fixed.
All right. What list did you have?
Okay, all right. Here we go. I have 3. Like I say, I've got 3 different ones.
Okay.
Over at the Pit, I have the top 10 most quote unquote metal wrestlers in history. And then over at worshipmetal.com, I have 10 of the greatest old school Australian thrash albums known to man. And I have this one we may have to hold off on. This is 50 old school American thrash albums that were equal to anything released by the Big Four. So I have those 3. So
and then the one I had was the top 50 metal men and women. So I think let's go with the wrestling one. That's
okay. You want to do the wrestling one? All right, we'll knock that one.
Kind of fits in with my day since I'm going to go and I'm actually meeting up with Wolfie D and Jamie Dundee later. So
okay, cool. And plus it's your anniversary, so you'll be doing some wrestling later. So
yeah, a lot of figure fours.
That's right. Yeah. Remember, don't let her reverse it on you.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
Hi. I'm doing like a hostile takeover here. I apologize. And I was lurking in the background like a creeper. So please forgive me.
I started clutching my purse.
Sir, that's my purse.
It's what I do. I like to just show up and just kind of like stare at you with my dumb looking face on the avatar, but like, I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Like some meet the fuckers thing. You
know? Pretty much. So real quick, because it's a milestone, it deserves to be brought up. But so I'm going to say it wrong, and I love the interview. And it's Anzilu episode. Am I saying it wrong?
Well, I'm not even 100% sure if it's Anzilu or Anzilu. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which syllable gets the emphasis.
It's close. Nobody ever corrected us either way. So
okay, right, so I'm going to go with what you said and say Anzilu because it sounds less like Zulily. Yeah. So that episode is currently sitting at 3,102,000 listens. Congratulations. You've crested the 3 million. The Methane Show from last week, 2,467,000 listens. Man. That's badass. And I wanted to jump on and just throw that out there because that's pretty freaking cool. So congratulations, gentlemen. You are breaking the 4th and 5th walls. So I figured it was worth sharing. So there.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, man. We appreciate
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's literally all I wanted to do. I mean, I just wanted to, I was proud of that. So I said, what the hell? So I had to show up and just, bombard your shit, as people call me. So there.
Well, it could have been a whole different, worse scenario to bombard, I guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I try to come and bring good news. So there you go. So anyway,
the Santa Claus of VOP.
That's right.
There you go.
I'm not that fat anymore, but I'm still fat, so I can still kind of pass that off. I don't do the white beard thing though. I'm not there yet. But other than that,
I could be if I grew it out. But
Chris is setting it up. He's getting ready for the future.
There's some in there. There is some in there. There's a little in there.
I'm not. I gotta stop. Anyway, gentlemen, love you guys. Congrats and
thank you, sir.
Freaking keep crushing it, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you.
And your Spotify link and all your other links to Asa sent to you in the messenger doohickey.
Yeah,
thing.
I saw it come through. Yeah, I saw.
We'll try to make that look better going forward, but you're there. So Metalheads Unite on Spotify. No needing to go VOP/no. Metalheads Unite and iHeart and Apple and everywhere else. So yes, there you go.
Cool. That was actually one of the things that I asked about was if it was on iHeart or not. So
you are. Good. You be there. And the sad part is it sucks, right? Because I'm a dumbass and I'm not good with this techie stuff. So you've been there for a minute, and me not realizing like, oh yeah, there's a couple of things to do there, and I'm. See, people don't leave me alone. And it's like, I probably should have done a better job at that. And then when you're relying on either yourself or one other person to do all this stuff, things kind of fall by the wayside a little bit, but we're better now. So yeah, you are there. So there.
Very nice.
All right, gentlemen, I will leave you be. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thanks,
Keep crushing it. Love you guys, man.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Dan Smeriglio, everybody.
Always bringing the bag of good news, I guess.
Hell yeah, man.
So, all right, well, I guess I can pass that info along too. So whenever we get off of here, so
cool. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go with heavy metal wrestlers.
So since we're going into that, I'll tell you my joke from earlier. Whenever you were talking about the venue thing, I said some of these bands should just have Teddy Long come out with them and be like, you want to take 20%, player? You're going to go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
There you go. Shit, yeah, man. Lights go out. Bell sounds. Crowd pops. God, hell yeah.
The venue says, "Fuck no, I'll take all your money." And
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Sign me up.
I don't know why I was thinking about that shit when you said that. I said, that'd be fucking hilarious.
It would. All right, so here we go. All right, like I said, this is over at wearethepit.com. A few things in this world go great together like heavy metal and wrestling do. No arguments there. Musicians and wrestlers have a similar practice of traveling across the country, giving highly physical performances for crowds. Every episode of WWE's Raw or SmackDown feels like a high-production rock concert filled with larger-than-life characters putting it down in the ring. We previously wrote about the many actual heavier-than-hell performances that have taken place at WWE events in past years. Part of the reason those work so well is the fact that numerous wrestlers are essentially rock stars in their own right. Whether it's actual musicians, wrestling, or athletes whose whole persona wouldn't look out of place on a metal stage, it's been a glorious combination that's gone on strong for years. We took a look back at some of the best heavy metal inspired gimmicks throughout wrestling history. And they don't have these ranked like 10 to 1 or 1 through 10 or anything like that. So they start off with probably, I would say arguably the one that probably comes to mind first is Triple H. It's a pretty sure thing that Triple H has done more for the convergence of heavy metal and wrestling than anybody else in history. Beyond his own pursuits as a wrestler, spreading the gospel of Motorhead via his themes, The Game and King of Kings, the cerebral assassin has done a significant amount of metal during his tenure in NXT. It was his vision that had the brand merge metal performance with wrestling, inviting the likes of Code Orange, Incendiary, Poppy, and Lizzie Hale to shred. Now with a bigger role behind the scenes in WWE as head of creative, who knows what could happen on the main roster. Maybe he'll get Metallica to play him to the ring for real. Okay, I'd be okay with that. And then next we have Edge. Everything about Adam Edge Copeland's career has been metal, from his debut in the very typo negative inspired stable The Brood to scoring multiple entrance themes from the likes of Rob Zombie and Alter Bridge. Often sporting long hair and a trench coat, Edge often looks the part for a heavy metal wrestling vampire, carrying an intensity that mirrors his love for the genre and desire to show what a rock frontman would look like as an athlete.
And he's also on the board of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yep, they left that part out.
Yeah,
this I didn't know. And then they went with Seth Rollins. I didn't know Seth Rollins was a metalhead. That's actually I didn't know.
Yeah.
Through Seth freaking Rollins' many wrestling themes, one thing has remained consistent: his love for breakdowns, ranging all the way back to his days in WWE developmental territory FCW, when he would come out to War of Ages Battle On. Rollins and crunchy metalcore breakdowns go perfectly together. He's also constantly showing support to bands. Back in 2015, premiering Terror's video "Mind at War" to the world on his Twitter and shouting out the likes of Misery Signals in interviews. Next, they have Rhea Ripley. Whether on her own or as a member of the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley has been one of WWE's most compelling on-screen figures since her debut. Beyond the studded gear and gothed-out look, her character is straight-up sinister, unafraid to play psychological tricks on her opponents, both male and female. Plus, it doesn't hurt to have a pretty kick-ass theme sung by Ash Costello of New Year's Day.
And she's also a big Motionless in White fan. So.
Yeah. Well, she looks like Chris Motionless when she's got all her makeup on.
They actually got a bunch of pictures together. The thing is, I seen Chris Motionless a while back in a photo, and he didn't have any of his stuff on. I'm like, who the fuck is that? Susie's like, that's Chris. I said, no, the fuck it's not. And like, I mean, honestly, I did not recognize the guy. I was just like, damn, man, it's fucking crazy how much different he looks.
Yeah.
And he's hardly ever out of character, which is crazy too. Yeah. It's like, even when he's doing, anything to do with the band, he's always in makeup. So it was kind of crazy to see him, with the other band members, not his band, but he was with other members of different bands in a picture. And I was like, wow, that's just kind of wild. Usually he's in, full gear when he's doing all that kind of stuff.
So for him, kayfabe's not dead, huh?
Right. Yeah.
All right, and then we move on to The Undertaker, of course. At the hands of anyone else, The Undertaker's persona would not succeed were it not for the dedication and sincerity of Mark Calloway. During his early days as the Dead Man, a literal zombie, Taker offered a dark, evil balance to WWE during his debut, but later evolved as a biker and the American Badass. Coming to the ring in a Harley to the tune of Limp Bizkit, it was a perfect time and place move for Big Evil in the early 2000s. For the rest of his career, he wrapped it up looking like a character straight out of a metal album cover, a towering figure clad with wide-brimmed hat and a determination to destroy his opponents. Absolutely. Then this one's going back a little ways, but I know you and I will remember these. But then when they go on to talk about the Headbangers. Although only around for a couple years, the Headbangers left a sizable mark in the memory of all metal-inclined wrestling fans. Showing up to the ring clad in band shirts and kilts, Mosh and Thrash were perfectly primed as an exciting tag team during the Attitude Era's peak. Like I say, I remember them, and I know you do too. But yeah, they weren't around for like super duper long. Then they go on to the Kiss Demon. The 90s were a strange time for Kiss. Seriously, look up their Psycho Circus, the Nightmare Child game on Dreamcast. No more evident in the debut of the Kiss Demon in WCW. Originally planned to be the start of a much larger Kiss-themed stable, the Demon was a comic book take on Gene Simmons' onstage persona turned very real, complete with a debut soundtrack by the band themselves. And then the funny thing is, like, they've got a video of it right here, and he's just getting Scorpion Death dropped by Sting. No big deal. No big deal. And then they've got
actually. So with him, if people don't know that, that was Bryan Adams, which was actually Crush of Demolition,
right?
Rest in peace, by the way, Bryan. But he was. To me, man, they really fucked him in that gimmick, I think. But yeah, I can see where they would actually talk about that in the Rockstar, because I mean he was a big metalhead too. So he was like wanting, he was like welcoming the gimmick because he was a big Kiss fan anyway. So
right,
and I think they kind of used that to their advantage and didn't really do anything to put him over with it. So
yeah, and then this last one here, I like who they went with, but I think they're kind of cheating because at the time this wasn't a WWE owned property. So I think they're kind of cheating a little bit, but like the character itself, I totally agree with. The last one they went with was Sandman.
Yeah.
If you're going to be called the Sandman, you damn well better come down to the ring to the Metallica Classic. The ECW legend, of course, did just that, showing up to every bloody and brutal shows of yesteryear, to the very bloody and brutal shows of yesteryear, armed with a can of beer and a kendo stick. His matches often turned into quasi-music videos, Enter Sandman playing the whole time while he was in the ring laying beatings on people. Maybe a good argument for more wrestling being soundtracked. So, like I say, even though ECW is technically the rights and all that shit are owned by WWE now, ECW in its heyday, especially when the Sandman was there. Mm-hmm. So like I say, they cheated a little bit, but as far as wrestling and heavy metal is concerned in general, I totally agree with that. So
you could probably say that about a lot of those guys. I mean, Rob Van Dam came out to Walk from Pantera, and then Tommy Dreamer came out to Man in a Box from Alice in Chains. I mean, there was a lot of people that came out to different metal songs and ECW. So
and then I mean, you could have also talked about CM Punk. You could have talked about him. Well,
yeah.
Too, so.
Was that the whole list?
That was it. It was just 10. Yeah, it was just 10.
And what was the title of the list again?
It was the top 10 most metal wrestlers in WWE history. That's what I'm saying. I think they cheated a little bit when they were talking about Sandman, because even though they own the rights to ECW now, so
how are they going to do that and not mention Jericho at all? That's bullshit. Like,
yeah,
I don't get that at all.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
And then he became a fucking lead singer of a metal band. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, hell, I mean, you could even say that they cheated talking about the Demon too, because that was before WCW went under. So
right.
So I mean,
I think that list could have been a little longer, and actually could have replaced some of. I guess they're trying to be more current than they were retro with that. But
yeah, I guess maybe they were, because I mean, even in that respect, you could have. Like, no disrespect to Sandman and to the Demon, but like I say, at the time they weren't WWE property, so you probably could replace Sandman with Jericho, and you could probably replace the Demon with with CM Punk or something like that. So I mean,
why couldn't they
list could have been better.
Why couldn't they use Aleister Black? I mean, that's trademarked WWE's. I mean,
yeah, that's true too.
Even though that's not his name anymore, he's still. He come out to death metal then too. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
That's the list.
So like I said, we could have broadened that a little bit for them if they would have asked. But
definitely,
yeah. Actually, I don't know if people remember, but there was a guy that came out with a guitar and everything back in 80s, early 90s, called Van Hammer, and he was
oh my god, I forgot about Van Hammer.
Yeah,
oh shit, yeah.
So yeah, he was definitely and I mean he won a TV title and stuff like that. So I mean they kind of pushed him in the right direction. I don't remember what happened why they didn't push him any further, but I guess it just got old too fast. I'm not sure, but.
Maybe. I mean, I do know that towards the end of his career, he was kind of one of the jobbers in the NWO. One of the guys that would always get his ass kicked, like when Sting would rappel down from the rafters. It was like him and Scott Norton and Conan. They were all in the NWO, but they were the ones that kind of got stuck in the ring to get the beating handed to them while everybody else scattered from the ring. So.
So there's another guy that actually one of my wrestling buddies that wrestles around in the area still. He's been at OVW and stuff like that. He's been around for a while, but Ryan Von Rocket, he kind of does the same little gimmick. He comes out with a guitar and stuff like that. He kind of wears the CC DeVille top hat when he comes out. So
okay,
so he's got kind of got that gimmick too. So.
Well, that's the funny thing is, like, if I would have ever, been a wrestler, I would have had some sort of. I guarantee. I don't know what my appearance would have looked like, but I would have I would have absolutely had a metal song to walk into.
Yeah,
absolutely would have.
Non-point bullet with a name was my thing for probably the last 15 years of my wrestling career. So so that was kind of my the music kid everybody knew. So it's kind of like that's kind of what you want is the music kids are like, oh shit, so
that's Mr. Impact's music.
Especially when you're especially when you go away for a while and then you kind of take Jericho for instance. When he went away and then he came, he kind of came back as a different, in a different way. You see the little countdown thing all the time,
right?
And they kind of used that and they did it in a different way. The second time he came around, it was just kind of like they did a countdown, but it was just as a different way and format. So you kind of knew, but you didn't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, man, it's got to be Jericho. Then maybe it's not. Maybe it's somebody new. But then, by the time he kind of debuted, you hear the, then he's like, oh shit, it's Jericho. So it's kind of like one of those things where you always wanted to have that lead intro or something to a song, or just like if Edge comes back and you hear that, you think you know me. Oh shit, it's Edge,
exactly.
It's like everybody knew,
something that's an immediate iconic hook. It's like
because you're looking for that immediate pop when you
just I mean, and like for me, there's no more iconic thing than the glass shattering. I mean,
oh well, yeah. I mean, that's it was so funny. It's like, I don't know if you've ever watched that on YouTube, but you should go check that out about Stone Cold talking about that. It's like, they kind of got the whole like glass shattering thing kind of got threw in, after the fact, but his whole thinking of that song that he came out to was based on Rage Against the Machine's Bulls on Parade. So, so whenever they were like, hey, you're coming out with this new thing, you need new music, you got an idea? And he's like, well, you're damn right I do. He's like, hell, I wouldn't have went through all this trouble if I didn't have a damn song in mind,
Well, hell, and because see, I didn't know that about Stone Cold's theme song, but I mean, hell, based on the list we just talked about, his original theme song was based off of Rage Against the Machine, and then for like 2 or 3 years, he came out to an originally recorded version of his own theme song by Disturbed. He should have been on the fucking list,
right?
Or could have been anyway. Exactly. Could have been. I guess it's just one of those things where you try to narrow it down to 10. It's a subjective list based on the actual author who wrote it. So I mean, I'm not like mad at the list or anything like that, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could have gone to 15 easily, probably even 20. You know what I mean? So
that being said, as Jericho said, you
just made the list.
So you made the list for not putting him on the list.
There you go. That's right.
And that's another thing is like you can't get any more creative than I don't think so than Jericho. I mean, how many times can you recreate a fucking character and get over? It's just so amazing that the guy's been able to do that for 30 years. I mean, So, props to him for sure. And, and even though he may have some kind of, bad feelings with WWE, I'm not sure what the issue is there. But to me, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if AEW carries on, I don't think he goes anywhere, but if something happened, I see WWE reaching out to him to come coach or some of the younger people or something at some point.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, Jericho's got such a personality that they could even bring him in and he wouldn't even have to just be in-ring talent. He could still be on TV, but not in ring, so. Yeah.
The moment that I realized, like, Jericho's always had the talent, but the moment I realized he had the total package was when he was doing the gimmick with Dean Malenko. And he had the big ass fucking paper out there talking about, I'm going to tell you all 1,004 hoes that I know. So I was like, yeah, this guy's fucking going places.
Yeah.
So,
and he did. Old Dino the Machino.
Even when he had Ralphus with him.
Yep.
Yep. Then he had Ralphus with him. So.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So I mean, like I said, it's a decent list. So can't really complain about a lot of it. Just probably could have did 20 and still been safe.
Probably, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let's move into hitting the road, I guess.
Yep.
I got a couple here. I didn't get too far into it because one of them was a festival lineup. So I kind of run myself out of breath for that, probably. So, So hitting the road. The party's in Alabama this fall, September 22nd through the 24th, and the full lineup for the 2023 edition of Furnace Fest has been released. And here it is. Friday, you have MXPX, Hatebreed, Anberlin, Reliant K, Alcoa, Gideon, Holy Wars, Hope's Fall, Kid Liberty, Knuckle Puck, Made Aware, 90-Pound Wuss. I kind of want to hear that music now. No Cure. It may be all like Polka or something.
Maybe.
No Trigger, Norma Jean, Open Hand, Orthodox, Piebald, Project 86, Showbread, Slow Pulse, Sparta, Taylor Acorn, Walls of Jericho. Hey, look, there's Walls of Jericho. With Blood Comes Cleansing, Witset, With Honor, and Vain.fm. Saturday, you got Turnstile, Head, Automatica. Sorry, I don't know why I was trying to pronounce that because I thought there was an N and not an M, I guess. I thought it was kind of autonomy, but it wasn't.
I gotcha.
So Thursday, Seosin, Inner Shakira, Inner Shakira. Oh my God, Shikari. Oh my God, Inner Shikari. Oh my God, Anxious Becoming the Archetype. The Bronx, Drain, Extol, Foreign Hands, Gorilla Biscuits, Grand Champ. It reminds me of a rock movie for some fucking reason. Gorilla Biscuits. High Biz, Holy Name, Living Sacrifice, Loathe, Mind Force, Narrowhead, The Pink Spiders. That sounds vicious. Scowl, Teenage Wrist, which is usually sliced up. Just kidding.
Right. Yep.
Scowl, Teenage Wrist, Terror, Training for Utopia, Trash Talk, Wielded Steel, Will Haven, Youth of Today, Zayo, Zulu. And then Sunday, we have Bane, Pennywise, Haste Today, Between the Buried and Me, Bouncing Souls, A Plea for Purging, Armor for Sleep, As Cities Burn, Blessed by a Broken Heart, The Callous Doughboys, or Dowboys, or however.
Yeah, I still think it's the Callous Dowboys. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Casey, because it's kind of a, well, I don't know what they call that, but they kind of swapped the names from the Dallas Cowboys.
It's a juxtaposition.
Yeah, there you go. Casey, Chasing Victory, Defeater, Further Seems Forever, Gotti Hook, Gutter, Inclination, The Insiders, It Dies Today, Judge, May, Military Gun, One King Down, Prayer for Cleansing, Qualifier, Strife, Taking Meds, Trenches, and Valley Heart. So it seems like that festival's got a lot of like up and comer type bands to it instead of like the normal, beefed up festivals.
Right.
Which is kind of like what we do anyway. So, kind of fits the mode here, I guess. So.
Right.
And then, of course, we talked about this a little bit earlier. The Guns N' Roses announced their massive world tour running from June to October, and it is a world tour because it starts on June 5th in Tel Aviv, Israel, at the Park Hayarkin, and then ends on October 16th in Vancouver, British Columbia, at the BC Place. They also make a stop in Nashville, like I said, August 26th in the Gia Park. So they kind of go from Israel all the way around to Canada. So, I mean, when you say world tour, that's a world tour. So
yes, yes, it is.
So, and that's all I really covered. I knew there was a lot more stuff, but that was the main two things I just wanted to touch on. So.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a quieter week this week. I ended up with a little less than 2 full pages, and it probably would have been a little less if I wouldn't have used so many little snippets. So yeah, so actually it's actually not too bad. Leading off this week over at the PRP.com, as always, we have Stick to Your Guns going to Europe in April, starting April 7th in Wien, Austria at the Impericon Festival, finishing April 16th in München, Germany at the Impericon Festival. Weird. And then Insomnium and Black Anvil have announced a trio of off-date U.S. shows in between shows with Enslaved. April 9th in Lakewood, Ohio at the Foundry Concert Club, April 24th in El Paso, Texas at the Rock House Dive Bar, and April 27th in Memphis, Tennessee at Growlers. Killswitch Engage and Currents are going on a April mini tour. They're going out for 4 shows starting April 10th in Baltimore, Maryland at the Rams Head Live, April 11th in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Fillmore, April 13th in Norfolk, Virginia at the Norva, and April 15th in Cleveland, Ohio at the Agora Ballroom. The Acacia Strain have announced shows with Escuela Grind, Vomit Forth, and Chained to the Bottom of the Ocean. In honor of their Step into the Light release. Got a trio of shows there. May 19th in Syracuse at the Lost Horizon, May 20th in Albany, New York at Empire Underground, and May 21st in Portland, Maine at the Cavern. Excuse me. Then He Is Legend and Hammers are going on a quick jog around Australia, if such a thing is even possible, starting May 17th in Gold Coast, Australia at Moe's Desert Clubhouse, finishing May 24th in Perth, Australia at the Badlands. Then Tiger Cub has announced a couple of different tours. Their U.S. tour starts April 29th in Austin, Texas at the Empire Control Room and will finish June 10th in Baltimore, Maryland at Metro Gallery. They will be at the End in Nashville on May 25th. Then their UK tour starts October 20th in Brighton, England at Chalk, finishing November 7th in Portsmouth, England at the Wedgwood Rooms. Trivium, Malevolence, and Archetypes Collide will be going on a quick jog of the Midwest. There's a trio of shows starting May 4th in Mankato, Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center, May 5th in Belvedere, Illinois at the Apollo Theater AC, and May 6th in Sioux City, Iowa at the Hard Rock Casino. Moonspell has announced a North American 30th anniversary tour with E-Line. Oceans of Slumber and Vintersea will be on the tour at select dates. That tour starts April 29th in Brooklyn, New York at the Monarch and finishes May 25th in Boston, Massachusetts at Sonia. No Nashville date for that tour. Thrice has added second dates on their Australian tour in honor of their Artist in the Ambulance 20th anniversary. Those dates are September 1st in Melbourne and September 7th in Perth. Like I say, those are the second dates added to those two cities. Soft Blue Shimmer, Jinx, Truth Cult, Scarlet, Praise, Somerset Thrower, and Military Gun will be openers for rival schools' spring and summer tour dates. Military Gun is going to be the opener on all the European dates, and the other bands will appear at select dates as they go around the United States. I've already announced the dates, so I'm not gonna go over that. But those are the opening bands for the European and North American tours, respectively. Il Nino is going to be going on tour for the 20th anniversary of their Confession album with Through Fire and Dropout Kings. Sin Shrift, Tulip, Redefined, Burden of Sky, and Sempter Acerbus will be appearing at select dates. That tour starts May 4th in Jacksonville, Florida at Hooligans and wraps up June 4th in Tyler, Texas at the Country River Club. No Nashville date there. Then moving over to blabbermouth.net, Vicious Rumors is going on a European tour starting April 29th in Remchingen, Germany at No Playback Festival, and will finish May 19th in Oberndort am Lech, Germany at the Metalheads Open Air Festival. Then Iron Allies, the band with Herman Frank and David Reese, formerly of Accept, have announced their first live shows. Those are going to be March 10th at the Silver Cube Lounge and Hard Rock Lounge in Dielsdorf, Switzerland, March 11th at Johnny's Lion Cave in Trubach, Switzerland, and June 9th and 10th at the Japara Rock Festival in Openets, Bulgaria. So that's all I've got for hitting the road for the 18th through the 24th.
All right. Good deal.
Yep.
So I guess we can move into our theme of the week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you was kind of worried about that, but then I got pretty carried away with it and wound up with about 15 or 16 songs. So,
yeah. Well, my whole issue, like when you told me the theme, I took it initially way too literal.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was like, how the hell am I going to end up coming up with a list based on this theme? And then I was like, well, this and this and this. I was like, all right, I need to be a little more general with it.
Well, yes. And then superhero characters or anything involved in the comic book world.
Yeah. So once I opened it up to be a little more general, I was like, okay, this is a little bit easier. And then I am embarrassed that it took me until number 10 to come up with one song. So I was like, really? I'm just now thinking about that song, really? So I'm a little bit embarrassed. So.
I guess I'll kick this thing off here. I kind of could have went a little bit further into it, and I may, if we have some duplicates, I may go back and add some stuff. But
yeah,
this is basically what I had This is the first song that came to my mind was Avenged Sevenfold, Bat Country, kind of after Batman. But
nice.
I took that out the City of Evil album in 2005. And then to be a little more general, I went with Skillet Hero. That was from Awake 2009. Then I went with Metallica Enter Sandman. Of course, the Sandman was a villain in Spider-Man. So,
there you go.
That was from the Metallica album 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went with Dio Sunset Superman from Dream Evil 1987. Then I kind of went with the band names here. Actually, I kind of got a double on one of them, but I went with Hail the Villain. With My Reward from Population Decline in 2010. Their one and only album, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's that they only did one.
Yeah. Then I went with Villain of the Story and went with Bloodshot. Of course, Bloodshot's in DC Comics. So then that is from the Bloodshot album 2020. Then I went with Iron Maiden, Flash of the Blade, of course, from Flash. But that was from Power Slave 1984. Then I went with Manowar, The Sons of Odin, which, Thor and Loki.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah.
Gods of War 2007. This one's kind of, self-explanatory, I think. But I went with Avatar Justice from the Hunter-Gatherer album 2020. Then I went with Kiss War Machine. Of course, War Machine was an Iron Man.
Yep.
Creatures of the Night 1982. Then this one's kind of, is involved with all comic book characters pretty much. Motionless in White, Disguise, because they all use a disguise.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was from the Disguise album 2019. Then I went with Dead Crown Joker from the Conic EP 2022. Then I went with Megadeth Head Crusher, and I used the album on this one, Endgame from 2009. So.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then I went with. Then I went with In This Moment, Black Widow. Of course, Black Widow's interest. That was from the Black Widow album 2014. And then last but not least, I went with Samsara, Scarlet Witch from Reap What You Sow 2019. So there we go. That was
nice. We only ended up with one
nice.
We only ended up with one duplicate, which is good because I only ended up with 11 songs. I actually I only ended up with 11 songs because I actually ran out of time, so I just stopped at 11. But which is good because you came up with some really good ones too. So, all right. So for my list this week, starting off, I had The Hero by Amon Amarth off Twilight of the Thunder God from 2008. Then I went with And Justice for All by Metallica off the album of the same name from 1989. Then I went with Hammer of Justice by Hammerfall off of Chapter 5, Unbent, Unbowed, and Unbroken from 2005. Then I went with Breaking the Law by Judas Priest off of British Steel from 1980, because all the bad guys break the law.
Yep.
Then I went with Anti-Hero by God Forbid off of Gone Forever from 2004. Yeah, because, Deadpool's an anti-hero, shit like that.
That could be used in a lot of them. So
yeah, it could. Yeah.
Deadpool, and then Punisher. Yeah.
Yep. And then I went with Take Back the Fear by Hail the Villain off of Population Declining from 2010. So I went with the band name too. So, and then I was proud of myself for this one. I got a trifecta on this one. I got the song, the album, and the song, the band, and the album all in one on this one. I went with Nemesis by Arch Enemy off of Doomsday Machine from 2005. I got a goddamn trifecta.
Nice.
It's like, yes. And then the one we did have a double on, I went with Justice by Avatar from Hunter Gatherer 2020. That's just I love that song. The whole album's a banger anyway.
Oh yeah.
And then a new band to me, I went with The Joker by Eternal Breath off of their album of the same name, The Joker from 2016. They are a power metal band from Oosterzeebeke, Belgium. So I discovered them doing research for the album, but there's a very, very awesome song. Cool. I'm actually gonna try to go back and listen to the album just based on the song. And then number 10, I kicked my own ass for not thinking of this sooner. I was like, I waited till number 10, Iron Man by Black Sabbath off of Paranoid from 1970.
I was actually going to go with that one, and I said he'll probably have that one, so I'm not going to do it.
But I was like, I cannot believe that one wasn't the first fucking one I thought of, but it wasn't.
Right. It was about the third one I thought of, and I was just like, I'll let him do it. So.
But see, that's the thing. Third would have been better than 10th. So I mean, I was like, God damn it, really? So okay, but. And then number 11, I went with Vengeance by Dream Evil off of their album United from 2006, because Batman is, he is the knight.
He is vengeance.
He is vengeance. Yeah. So, so that's my list. So
yeah, I think once we realized it broadened out, at least I kind of knew where I was going with it when I said it. But,
yeah.
Once you realized it was broadened out, I think we probably could have went a little bit further if we wanted to. But
yeah. Because like I say,
I should have been a little. I mean, I'll always expect you to know that it's kind of broad. So it's like,
yeah. Well, like I say, I first thought of it, and like the first thought I had in my head is like, how am I gonna? Like when you first told me, I was like, how the hell? And then, like I say, I started thinking about it, and I got into it. I was like, okay, I need to widen out my thinking a little bit. So yeah, it didn't take me too long, but yeah, so I kind of laughed at myself there a little bit. So
yeah, when you said that, it was like, oh, it's going to be kind of difficult. I'm like, no, surely not. Like, because I was, I had like the first three on top of my head. Yeah. Of course, I didn't go with that third one, but I was just like,
right, yeah.
But I was just like, oh yeah, once I get into like, keyword searching in Spotify, I'll be like, oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I kind of do that first. I kind of keyword search in Spotify, and then once if I don't find anything, I'm like, I know there's a song by that. So then I'll have to go to like Metal Encyclopedia or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Encyclopedia Metallum, and then look it up there because I know there's a song, but I can't remember. Like a lot of times I can't remember like the band or anything. I'm like, there's a fucking song. Like even like Scarecrow. Like I was going to use Scarecrow, and I kept thinking, man, Butcher Babies has a Scarecrow song. Then it's not. It's called Burn the Straw Man. So it's a little bit different. So I was just like, I ain't going to use that one.
Okay. Yeah, I get you.
So, but I kept thinking it was Scarecrow, but it wasn't. It was Straw Man. But anyway. And I'm sure we could have found some Scarecrow songs. If we
probably.
To,
probably.
Like I said, we probably could have did that in a lot of, probably could have did a Dead Shot if we wanted to, and a Punisher or some kind.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll get that list compiled up for you guys.
Yeah, and I promise it won't take until Tuesday this time. Or wait, it was actually it was later than that, wasn't it? I think it was actually
Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday, okay.
Yeah, because I hit you up on Monday night, and you was like,
"Oh, that's right."
No, it was Tuesday. No, it was Tuesday night when I hit you up, and you went ahead and did it.
Yep.
And then I added my stuff later, and you
so it
Wednesday,
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't until Wednesday. So that's totally my bad there. Totally my bad there. I'm just gonna hop off as soon as we hop off. Hop off here. I'll put it together. Yeah, we'll definitely.
You were out doing things. So
yeah, we were. It was a busy weekend last weekend. So, but yeah, we'll get it compiled and posted for you guys over there.
That was post Valentine's post.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You guys were post Valentine's Day celebrating. So
yes, we were. Yep.
All right, go into the album reviews here. Actually went with this band called Metalheads. Hopefully that's pronounced right. The name of the album was The Shadows Ball. Metalheads is a band out of Pau? P-A-U, France.
Yeah, Pau. Sounds right to me.
Sounds like something. They're a progressive power metal band out of there. They actually were formed in 1995, so they've been around a while. That's the first time I've ever heard of them. There's another one of those bands where they've been around for a while. It's the first time I've ever heard of them. So
right,
which is kind of crazy. But anyway, current band members are. Okay, I don't know if this is Stefan or Stephanie. So, but
probably it's probably Stefan.
Stefan. Okay, we'll go with that then. It's Stephane. So
yeah, it's probably Stefan.
Okay, then
I'm gonna guess that.
Lacaud is the last name. Bassist. Then we had Francois Merle guitars, Patrick Soria on drums, Corrine Pinto on vocals, and Lionel Visery on guitars. Francois and Stefan or Stefan or however you want to pronounce it. They are the two original members in the band. Everybody else is kind of actually. Stefan actually was there for a year, then came back in 2013. So actually, Francois may be the only original band the whole time. So only original member the whole time. So everybody else is kind of new from 16 and up. So went through a few member changes there. So actually, I may go back and listen to some of the older stuff just to see how they kind of. Well, actually, I may not because a lot of it's in French. So
well, I mean, well, we do listen to Rammstein. So
well, yeah. This is actually the band's 8th full-length album. So, like I said, they've been around for a minute. So, the rest of my shit. Oh, never mind. 12 songs, 52 minutes, 12 seconds. So this kind of gave me an old school feel, like an old school metal feel, and I guess that's probably why, since they've been around since like '95. But the guitars on this was like really, really good. The vocals was really diverse. They actually had had a kind of a ballady type song on there that I thought was done really well. It was kind of one of those where it's ballady, but it's not ballady.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like one of those things that's kind of, seems to be fitting the norm for ballad type metal songs now, especially with like In Flames and Avatar and all those doing some of the lower, slower type music, but then kind of building up in a little bit faster and then going back to the slower. So it's kind of one of those deals. But yeah, I thought it was really, really well done. Like I said, I don't know anything about their older stuff. I would like to go back and try to compare that. But this one was overall pretty good. I'm going to give it 3.5 horns just because, I think there's some improvements could be done on some of the stuff. But overall, I think it was good. So.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I definitely would listen to it if it, came across. I wouldn't turn it. I'd just check it out. So
nice. All right. Well, I actually got to listen to 2 albums yesterday. I was actually surprised, but my formal review this week is Megaton Sword and their new album Might and Power. They are a epic heavy metal band formed in Winterthur, Germany in 2018. Their lyrical themes consist of conquest, valor, triumph, and tragedy. Their current lineup is Simon the Sorcerer on bass, Dan Thundersteel on drums, Chris the Axe on guitar, Uzi Unchained on vocals, and Seth Angel on guitars. And I get the sneaking suspicion that those are just stage names. I don't know why. This is their second full-length album. Their debut album Blood Hails Steel and Steel Hails Fire came out in 2020, leading up to Might and Power yesterday. The album itself is 8 tracks in length, 39 minutes and 23 seconds. So, pretty quick, easy listen. I don't know that I necessarily agree that they're at least based on what I heard yesterday, that they're an epic heavy metal band. I don't know, because to me, when I hear that, I think of a lot more symphonic accompaniment, and there wasn't any of that. There wasn't any of that in this album. I got some massive Manowar and Dio vibes from this album. It had a very, very old school but heavy feel to it. The only thing that kind of bummed me out about it is it wasn't a super duper up tempo album. It had kind of like a mid tempo to it, which was fine. That wasn't the problem. The guitars were heavy, but a lot of the riffs were really, really basic. So it wasn't anything super duper intricate. It wasn't thrashy at all, which in and of itself isn't a problem for me, but I don't know. It seemed to me like the band relied on power chords a little bit too much. it just kind of had, a lot of the songs had basically just the same sound to it. There wasn't a lot of diversification in the guitar parts within each song. Not that anything ever has to be like, they don't have to go like Dragon Force with it and have everything be some super duper ridiculously intricate, long drawn out guitar riff. But some of the guitar work, even though it was heavy, it left me it left me feeling like they could have done a little bit more with it. I don't know. It seemed basic to me, and I don't necessarily mean that as an insult, because I mean, hell, the guitar parts in the album, I couldn't even play them, because I don't know how to play the guitars. So,
right,
but I don't know. I felt like there was a little bit missing. Like overall, the album, I still enjoyed the album. I'm going to give it 3.5 horns. But I think I could have given it. I wanted to give it more, but I wanted the album to give me more at the same time. The vocals were very, very well done. So no arguments there. Just like I say, an old school fucking Man-O-War, Ronnie James Dio, old school feel. The last track I didn't really care for too much at the beginning, because it was a little bit more of a little bit more ballady up front, and I didn't really care. It got heavier. The tempo picked up, and the song got heavier towards the end, which was fine. But I didn't really like the way the first maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes were composed. I don't know. It seemed like it was a little bit jumbled. Didn't really seem like the ballady composition of the song was put together real well. Like I say, I don't have any arguments with the rest of the song. The last 2.5, 3 minutes were better. Maybe sounds like I'm nitpicking a little bit, but yeah. So overall, I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5. This is, like I say, this is their sophomore album, and I definitely think the band has got room to grow. So I'd be interested. I do like the overall sound that they went with. You could do a fucking hell of a lot worse than Man-O-War and classic Ronnie James Dio.
Right.
So you could definitely do a lot worse. So I do like the sound that they have. I don't even have a problem with the tempo that they chose, like I said, but I'd like to hear the guitar parts evolve a little more going forward. So I hope that's something that happens. So cool. Definitely worth listening to. And then the other album I did listen to On the Prowl by Steel Panther. Classic Steel Panther, a bunch of dick and vagina jokes, in there, of course, but definitely going to give that one 4 horns out of 5, because I always say that if the subject matter aside, the music that Steel Panther puts out, I'm not even talking about the lyrics, but the musical compositions of Steel Panther are always well done, and Satchel is an amazing guitar player. And then all of their songs make me laugh. It's the music is very well done. The subject matter is as vulgar as it gets, but it makes me laugh.
The Instagram song really had me fucking laughing. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it was true, I think is why I was laughing so hard. I was just like, I think like the Friends with Benefits song. I mean, I know we've already heard that one because it was it was one of the singles or whatever. But I think it was a like I said, that composition for that song was really, really well done, because I think it kind of gave you an old school vibe with a new school spin, I think. Because if you go back and you listen to some older metal back in Faster Pussycat and LA Guns type era, you kind of hear a little bit of that in that song, but it's kind of got a modern day spin on it. And I think it was like, because like I was listening to that and I was just like, man, you just don't hear that type of composition on a song anymore. So so I thought it was pretty cool to kind of get that kind of a feeling. And of course they had that song with Dweezil Zappa. That's
what was it? All That More? all
no,
that.
Is my dick enough?
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. And even the ballad they had, 1987, still made me laugh, so
yeah.
So I mean, if you can enjoy,
as long as you're not no one pump chump, I guess you're right.
Right, yeah. So I mean, even if, like I say, the subject matter, the subject matter is obscene as it gets. But I mean, even if you can, but I mean, if you can enjoy the musical composition, and then to where the point that you enjoy the album as a whole, and then the songs can make you laugh. I mean, as far as Steel Panther goes, I mean, that's what they do, and they pull it. For me, for my money, they pull it off every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a huge fan of theirs.
Yeah, it was actually pretty interesting.
And they put on a great show.
I did like that. I noticed, like, when I was doing this, I noticed there was like a Steel Panther, like, I guess back when, which one left? Damn.
Oh, Lexi Fox. Lexi Fox.
Yeah, Lexi. So whenever, Lexi was still in the band when they did this like little cover, but it had like the Steel Panther. Then they had them all in like then they had their faces in like the poison type. Look what the cat dragged in scenario. And
yeah.
I was like,
oh yeah.
Am I freezing up or something, or what's up?
No, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I kind of felt like it was some lag there or something. So. But yeah. Actually, I don't know if you got to check out the new Godsmack yet either, but I actually listened to that. So
not yet. That's one of the next ones on my list for the upcoming week. That and the new Dope album. So
but yeah, it was definitely Godsmack. So I mean, not much else could be said. I mean, to me. To me, I don't think it holds a light to when Legends Rise, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, they were. I mean, it would be hard to top that album, honestly.
I was going to say they were going to have. They were going to have a hard time topping that one.
Yes, and I think that maybe that's probably a good thing that they can look into, is like just putting out singles once in a while, maybe, and then just touring, because I know they're not talking about putting any new albums out after this one. So, and I think at some point you kind of do, I thought about this a lot, and I was talking to Susie, my wife, about it, and I was just like, it kind of makes sense, because if you just keep making new music and then you go out and you play 20 songs at a show, well, I mean, a lot of shit's going to get left off that people may want to hear. So, maybe people don't want to hear the new shit; they want to hear old shit, and then you're out trying to promote a new album, so you're not playing a lot of old shit. So, so it's kind of like I think it kind of gives them a little more opportunity to play some stuff maybe they've never played live. I mean, I know there's songs, like I read an article where Guns N' Roses, there's 4 songs they've never played live. So
I saw that article. Yeah.
So I mean, there's songs that some bands have never played, and and I think it's cool because like they can do the things like Priest is doing now, pulling some old school stuff out of the vault and pulling it out for live shows now,
right? Which
is cool because there's some songs they hadn't played in 20 plus years that they're bringing back out for shows. And I think that's awesome.
It is.
And it's like, okay, well, I seen Priest, but I didn't see him play Living After Midnight or something. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like you keep going back to certain songs. So if you're not putting out new music, you have a better chance of hearing those songs when you go to a live show. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I totally get it. So
I do too. Yeah, I get it.
See, I thought that Dope album was kind of I think it was like a. I'll look it up real quick because I want to say that was all. I think that they were all covers.
Oh, were they? Okay. Well, I'll check it. So. I'll check it out, and if that's the case, I'll probably move on from it. But I am going to.
I mean, it was still good because I listened to a lot of it, but.
No, okay.
I know at least No Respect and Love Song. I know at least both of those were remakes.
Oh, okay.
Or covers. So I'm pretty sure the whole album is. But
yeah, I thought I will admit I thought it was a little odd, especially since they just had an EP come out too. So
yeah. So and I do know they have another EP coming out this year. So Jesus, I do know that.
Golly.
Because I think that's what I think that when I was reading about the other EP, that they were talking about the Dive EP. I think they were talking about the. Actually, no, that's not it. That's all the songs that are on this new album. Never mind. What was that EP? Shit, I can't remember what the new EP was. Or maybe it was. Oh, I don't know. They actually just included the EP on the new album then, so I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Maybe I don't know. That's like I say, I haven't really dug into it yet, so I'll check it out.
I know whenever I was reading that article about that, they were talking about there were going to be another. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, because they got another one listed as an EP called Dead World, and it was this year too, February 7th. Huh. I don't know. Spotify's get this shit listed weird, so who the fuck knows?
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, because then they got the whole album with songs from both of the EPs on it. I don't know.
No,
okay. It says February 24th. I don't know. Like I said, who knows? Who the fuck knows what they're doing? So, anyway, there's new dope music. There is new dope music out there. So.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is.
All right. So what do we got going for next week?
Yeah, coming up on moving into March, we're getting that much closer to spring, everybody. So, well, not everybody. I know not everybody, but here in the United States, anyway. So let's see, for this Friday, March 3rd, coming up, leading off, we have 71 Ton Man with Of End Times. We have Absalon with A Portrait of Madness. We have Ace of Spades with Born to Booze, Live to Sin, a tribute to Motorhead. We have Agar Wayne with Channel Lunacy. We have Itala with False Pretenses. That's a re-release. We have Arriver with Azimuth. We have At the Altar of the Horned God with Heart of Silence. We have Bagara with The Art of Deviant Behavior. Baltavar with Dark Science. Behind Bars with All in Due Time. Black 29 with The Waiting. Karma with Osadas. Carry On with Morbid Nailgun Necropsy. Yeah. We have Colpoclysis with Elegant Degradation. We have Cromlech with Ascent of Kings. Digital Negative with EP2. That is an EP. We have Disminded with The Vision. Earth Groans with Tongue Tied. That's an EP. Enslaved with Heimdall. Entheos with Time Will Take Us All. Eyes with Congratulations. Fame with Your Life and Nothing Else. Fake Names with Expendables. Full of Hell and Primitive Man with Suffocating Hallucination. Fury of 5 with Half Past Revenge. That's an EP. We have Fuzz Populi with 3. We have GIF from God with Digital Red. That's an EP. We have Haken with Fauna. Hama Sari with Ineffable. We have Haradwaith with The M Theory. John Demena with Dreams and Lies. We have Kekal with Eternitarian, The Essential Kekal, 1995 to 2022. We have Cold with a K with Intent Mere Air. Corrupt with Secret Sorrows, rather. We have Cruller with Dead Live. Lawrence Wallace with Compilation Songs. We have Lyra del Bacano with Cosmic Evoked Potentials. We have Litu with Occulti da Antiche Radici, I hope. Lord Sonny the Unifier with America's newest hitmaker. Luna with The Illusionist. Maggot Crown with Apparition of Faces. Majesties with Vast Reaches Unclaimed. Mantil with Vestiges Engraved in Frozen Mysticism History. We have Mommy's Little Monsters with a self-titled album. Mural Crown with Coastal Towers. We have Nachtlick with Third Ritual. Necropanther with Betrayal. Nomad with The Mountain. Nuclear Holocaust with Sailing the Seas of Nuclear Waste. Ocean of Grief with Pale Existence. We have Panzer Krieg 666 with Wolfpack. That is an EP. Phantom Fire with Eminent Lucifer Libertad. Plague Bearer with Summoning Apocalyptic Devastation. Poseidon with a self-titled album. We have Pyre. Let's see, what is this? Pyrification with one iron. That can't be right. Oniron, that's probably more correct. We have Realm with Cursed by the Crown. Red Light King with In Our Blood. Wrath God with Graveside Service. Runed Guard with my Lord. Ulv with Ulvmon Dominin, I think. I don't know. Sand Rider with Envelitration. Skyring Mirror with Omni Malevolence. Soulless Grief with a Last Exhale. Sortilege with Apocalypso. Stargazer with Life Will Never Be the Same. Stoned Jesus with Fatherlight. Story About Illusion with Perfect Equilibrium. Temptress with C. Terminal with RATS, RATS. That's an acronym for something. Turvit Cadet with Kaikia Vastan. Thunderblood with The Final Beginning.
I think I drove one in cars.
Yeah, I think you got one in the driveway right now. Yeah. Thunder Warriors. Tombstone with To the Existence of Light. Tragedy with I Am Woman. Trench Dogs with Stockholmania. Unholy Craft with Nar al Tid Er Vanishment with No More Torture. We have Vermino Prieur with a split EP. Verminoth with Grotesque Manifestation. That's an EP. We have Villagers of Iowanina City with Through Space and Time. Viscera with Carcinogenesis. Witch Ripper with The Flight After the Fall. Witch Throat Serpent with Trove of Oddities at the Devil's Driveway. We have Yaroth with The Man in the Wood. And last but not least, Zulu with A New Tomorrow. So these lists definitely aren't getting too much shorter, which is good for us. So,
well, yeah, it gives us options, but
options galore.
Didn't sound like there was a lot of big stuff coming out this week, though. So,
no, I didn't really see any.
That's kind of a good thing. So
that's also a good thing for us. Yeah. So
we'll learn new bands. So.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what we're here for. So
yes.
So speaking of which, I want to make sure I get this caught up for the end of the show. We have a guest next week, Lifeform, which is a band from Boise, Idaho. So I'm kind of excited about talking to those guys, especially from being from that area. So it's kind of
mm-hmm.
you don't hear a lot of metal action coming from that area. So kind of interesting what the scene's like out there. So
yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely find out. But yeah, we're staying in the United States for this one next week. So, yeah. But hey, it's just another. Yeah, it's just another stop on the 2023 World Tour, though.
Yeah.
We're gonna need it at this rate. We're gonna need a much bigger shirt for next year.
Yeah. It'd be double-sided with the dates and stuff.
That's right. Yeah. We could just get a long sleeve and just run the dates down the sleeve.
Down the sleeve, yeah. Well, hopefully we don't. Well, at this point, we know it's not going to be 52. So,
well, that's true. That's true. That is very true.
There's still a good chance of it being 50, but I mean,
that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. So I don't foresee being 50, but
nah, I don't either.
It'd be cool.
It'd be cool if we were like somewhere. It'd be cool if
I'd actually be happy with I kind of set a goal from last year to this year. As I said, between 25 maybe would be pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, 25, 30 somewhere in there. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So it's not
that'd be all right.
too overwhelming, but
no, that'd be all right.
But like I said, if we had a guest on every week, I would be okay with that too. Since then we just change the format. So
well, yeah.
We would just be doing news and that probably, and then cover everything else on one of our exclusive content pages. So that's probably what we would have. That's probably what we would have to do, honestly. So,
there we go. Yeah,
which is cool. We're actually talking to someone about some radio opportunities. We'll see how that works out. So we can definitely do our playlist on there. So.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, my friend, you have a vacation to get to, so.
Yeah, I gotta get in here and start to. actually, I'm going out. Well, supposedly, I'm going out to see some old wrestling buddies, JC Ice and Wolfie D, PG-13. They're out near here, so I'm gonna go out and bust up in there with a steel chair real quick. And
hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man.
I do a pretty good Jamie Dundee impersonation, so I'm probably gonna bust up in there and start fucking with him. But The goddamn JC Ice, baby! Wow.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
Then I can go and rag his ass about calling me at 2:00 in the morning at one time. So, motherfucker.
Very nice.
That's a story for another show. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, another day, another show.
You do that on a wrestling show or something. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
All right, everybody. But before we go, want to remind everybody about all of the places where we can be found. We've got radio.co, we got VOPUSAradio.com, the VOP USA Radio app. We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Twitch, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Metalheads Unite USA at gmail.com. I'm making sure I don't forget anything. Metalheads Unite at VOPUSA.com. YouTube. I think I already said that.
Did you? Oh, I didn't hear
maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. We have our Facebook group. Come and look for the thumbnail over there and check us out over there. Send us a member request. We'll get you guys hooked up. So,
and check out our merch store.
Check out the merch store, VOPUSAradio.store. That's right. Absolutely.
So get you some merch. And then also we're going to have our own personal merch over on Patreon at some point whenever it all comes in. So.
Yep,
and plus we'll show off the tour shirts when we get them, and then you can decide if you want one of those, and we'll hook you up with one of them too. So,
yep, and just a reminder, I know we touched on it earlier in the show, but 3 weeks from today we will be live at the Rock and Pod Expo at the fairgrounds in Nashville. So any local fans in the area, you guys want to come on down and check out the whole show, but come on by and say hi to us. We'll be there. I don't know. I'm still not 100% sure if all weekend, but definitely all day Saturday for sure. So,
well, no, we're supposed to set up Friday anytime after noon.
Okay.
And actually, I wanted to try to I told them I was going to try to be there sometime around 1:30 because I think Rick Fox was talking about doing interviews on Friday.
Okay.
So
we could record
from last I heard. Yeah. So we'll talk to him on Friday, and then
okay. Now see, that would be,
and everything else will be Saturday. So
that would be cool. I would like that. So I took the 17th off. So I mean I have that day off. So
yeah. So and I don't remember what's going on Sunday. I think there's like another like Comic Con or something like that there that we're able to go to, but we have to pay extra to sell merch or whatever and set up a table if we want to. It's like $20 extra or whatever. But
we'll play that by ear.
Yeah, we'll kind of see. Once we get there and see how everything plays out, because we'll get a itinerary or whatever. I think when we get there, so
right.
So we'll see what happens with that. So it's still a little bit ways off. So
yeah. Yeah, there are still some details getting hammered out and everything. So we still don't know who is going to be coming on the show and doing our interviews yet or anything like that. So we do still have some things, all those euphemisms, wrinkles getting ironed out, details, all that other shit. So
it's it was. I mean, actually, I don't know if this is something I do every year, but I know Chris from Decibel Geek Podcast. He kind of runs that thing. So I'm not sure if he's been doing it in the past and he just couldn't handle it this year, because I know he's got help this year. So or maybe it just got bigger than he can handle. But I know it said it's one of the biggest years he's done it. So
well, good.
There's actually podcasts coming from the UK, which is the first year he's ever had that happen. So
nice.
So it's pretty awesome. And actually, hopefully, we get to talk to those guys and see how they kind of do their shows over in the UK. So
yeah,
I think that's kind of the good thing is like we're all like talking to each other or seeing what each other uses and what we prefer to use, and kind of
that's kind
of something we wanted to do too, is seeing if there's anything extra we can add to our show to kind of spice it up a little. So but besides putting naked women on it,
no, we're not doing that.
It's save that for that's paid content. So.
Yeah, we gotta start resorting to that. Then we may want to just wrap this thing up.
we're gonna get some Metalheads Unite tassels made. So
yes. Wow. Okay.
Tassel and G-string set at the merch store.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man,
that's funny.
It's like putting an advertisement on a fucking NASCAR right there, right?
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's very
true. Whatever you can do to advertise, I guess. That's true. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're just playing. So
no, we're just kidding.
Don't go over expecting to buy tassels and G strings. That's not going to happen. So we keep all that for ourselves. So.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, we're wearing them right now. You don't know.
It rasped a little bit, but
yeah, my voice is a little higher than it used to be. So yeah.
I can taste the leather.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna leave you guys with that today.
With that visual, yeah. With that visual,
with that visual,
We'll leave you with that.
But
all right, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for stopping by today. Hope you enjoyed everything. Like I said, we will be back next week with a special guest, so don't miss that. Hopefully we'll have all the radio bugs worked out. I think we've gotten a message about that. So I think there's some updates that we needed to do that I wasn't aware of. So I apologize for the side over there. So we'll get that worked out by next week for sure, because we definitely need all the everybody to listen to make sure they get informed of the band live for them. So
that's right. Absolutely.
So until then, we will see you guys next week. And until then, keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.